What if I told you that the biggest traitor in your life has been your own voice? That voice whispering you can't do it, that you're not enough, that it's better not to try. It's not the world holding you back, it's you. You. With your doubts, your excuses, and your fear disguised as logic. But listen closely. No one's coming to save you, and you don't need them to. The only thing you need is to believe it. You've spent too long at the mercy of other people's noise, letting the world's shouting drown out the most important whisper, your own. Today you're going to reclaim that voice. Today you're going to remember what it means to belong to yourself. Because Stoicism isn't ancient poetry, it's a silent scream of power. In this video, you're going to discover principles that can shatter your inner chains. You'll learn to focus on yourself, believe in yourself, act for yourself. Not as motivational quotes, but as a life sentence. Fair warning, what's coming isn't comfortable. But if you dare to face that inner critic head on, you'll walk away with an identity so solid, not even the whole world could shake you. This is the beginning. Of you. For you. Only you. Before we begin, let me tell you the story of someone who gave everything for others, until he realized that no one was ever going to give anything back. Because sometimes, it's only when you hit rock bottom, alone, that you finally see where you really stand. His name was Oscar, 35 years old, high school teacher. One of those who does more than what's in his contract. For years, he's been covering extra shifts, organizing field trips, giving extra tutoring sessions, all without asking for anything in return. Because he believed that's how you earn respect, value, a place. For months, he worked on a special project for the school, a creative activity to help students with anxiety. It was his passion, his small way of making a difference. He gave up sleep, put his own money into it, even canceled plans with his partner. He did it with excitement, and with the hope that finally his effort would be recognized. But the day of the presentation came, and no one showed up. Not the principal, not his co-workers, not even a single message of support. He had to speak alone, literally, in front of 2 students and a mother who just happened to be passing by. And then, silence. No, thank you. No, you tried. Nothing. The worst part wasn't the project falling flat. It was realizing that it didn't matter, that he could give 3 times the effort and still be invisible. That night he walked home alone, and for the first time he felt like all his effort had been a mistake, that while he was trying to hold the world together, no one was holding him. When he got home, his hands were trembling, his chest tight, a strange pain like a silent pressure. He ran to the bathroom, looked at himself in the mirror, and what he saw wasn't just exhaustion, it was abandonment. And then he broke, not in tears, but in silence, the kind of silence that only comes from holding on too long. He sat on the floor, knees to his chest, and it was there, between the cold tiles and the emptiness of disappointment, that he remembered something he had read years ago, a phrase that, in that moment, hit him like a slap. The wise man is self-sufficient. Seneca said that, and for the first time he truly understood what it meant. It wasn't a call to become stone. It was an invitation to build yourself from the inside out, to stop begging for validation, to stop living to please, to stop asking for permission to feel worthy. The next day, he didn't go back to school smiling. He went back with a different energy. He didn't say yes to everything. He didn't cover for tasks that weren't his. He didn't excuse others' laziness. And most of all, he started carving out time for himself. He started eating without staring at his phone, saying, "I can't today," walking with music and no destination, writing down how he felt, breathing, rebuilding. Oscar didn't change the system, but he changed something far more important. He stopped living in other people's shadows and started taking up space of his own. And the curious thing was, once he stopped asking for attention, some people started offering it. But by then, he didn't need it, because inside, he had already become enough. Since then, whenever he feels himself slipping back into that silent savior role, he quietly repeats another phrase from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And you, watching this, how many times have you waited for others to value you while you put yourself last? How much longer are you going to live just to be useful, instead of living to be yourself? Because the first step to truly building yourself is to focus on you, without guilt, without excuses, and without asking for permission. Before we continue, if this content is bringing you value, consider subscribing and becoming an exclusive member to unlock unique benefits. And tell us in the comments, what decision are you going to make today, for and by yourself, without asking for permission, without waiting for approval? Or just write, I'm a Stoic. Today I start building myself from the inside out. No excuses, no fear. 1. You don't know how to focus your mind. My friend, I'm going to tell you something you might not like, but you need to hear it. You're not wasting your time. It's being stolen from you, and the thief doesn't wear a ski mask or run away. It's in your pocket, it buzzes every 5 minutes, and it feeds on your attention. And the worst part? You're handing it over willingly with a smile saying, just 5 more minutes. We live in an era where your mind doesn't belong to you. Every time you open a social app, you're not choosing what to see. Someone else already decided for you. Every time a notification pops up, you're reacting. And every time you react, you give away your power. The strange thing is, you don't even notice, because you're busy. Really busy, doing a lot of things, but none that bring you closer to yourself. Think of your attention like a lighthouse beam. It can light up one fixed point, help you move forward, give you clarity. But if you let it spin around aimlessly, all it does is cast everything into shadow. It doesn't light your way. It makes you dizzy. And that's where you are, confused, feeling like the day slipped away and you can't even say how. Let me guess. You sit down to work and think, time to be productive. You open your email, see a notification from Instagram, click just a minute, watch a funny video, read some dumb comment, get annoyed, reply, check another post, another video, and when you look at the clock, it's already noon. And you haven't moved a single line forward. Sound familiar? It happens to all of us. So no, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Because if you don't choose where your attention goes, the world will choose for you. And trust me, it won't be with your well-being in mind. Listen to what Marcus Aurelius wrote. Stop debating what a good man should be. Be one. And to be one, you need focus. Focus on what's within your control. Because if you go through life letting everything steal your attention, you'll end up the lead actor in someone else's script. And if Marcus Aurelius saw you now, with 4 tabs open, your phone in your hand, and your mind anywhere but on you, I guarantee he'd grab your phone and throw it out the window of the Colosseum. Now let's be serious. You need to train your attention like a muscle, because it is one. And no, multitasking isn't the solution. It's part of the problem. Andrew Huberman, a neuroscientist at Stanford, explains it clearly. Your brain isn't built for multitasking. Every time you switch from one thing to another, you lose focus, energy, and clarity. So how do you start focusing on yourself, believing in your ability, and acting with direction? Here are 3 simple but powerful steps you can start using today. First, choose just 3 priorities for the day. Write them down, not in your head, on paper. And every time something new tries to sneak into your day, ask yourself, does this fit with my 3 priorities? If it doesn't get in, period. Second, create a Stoic hour. Block out 1 hour a day. No phone, no notifications, no interruptions. Just you, doing what matters to you. Reading, writing, studying, building your project. Whatever it is, as long as it comes from you. Protect it like others protect their nap time. Third, train your focus like endurance. Do short, focused sessions without distraction. Start with 10 minutes and build from there. Make it hard on purpose. And when it starts to feel tough, that's when the real training begins. And don't worry, you don't have to do it perfectly. What matters is that you start taking back control of your attention, that you stop being a slave to the algorithm, to what others expect, to fake urgency. Because the more you train your mind to focus on you, the more confidence you'll feel. And the more confident you are in what you're doing, the easier it is to act from your center. That's the secret. It all starts with learning to direct your attention, to guard your mental energy like it's gold. Because it is. So let me ask you something. What if the internet went down tomorrow, worldwide? No social media, no emails, no content to consume. Where would you put your attention? What would you work on? What would you build? Maybe, my friend, that's where your real freedom begins. 2. Every obstacle is training you. You walk into an empty room. There's only a chalkboard, a chair, and a tall figure with arms crossed and a stern look. That's your obstacle. It's not here to greet you or make things easy. It's here to test you. And the first thing it says is, you're not here to complain, you're here to learn. That's how your lesson begins. A lesson you didn't ask for, but one that, if you pay attention, can teach you more than any self-help book ever could. Because yes, obstacles disguise themselves as enemies. But in reality, they're your mind's personal trainers. They pull you out of your comfort zone, make you sweat, stumble, think. And most importantly, they bring you back to yourself. To that place where, without distractions or excuses, you're left with only one option: to grow. Let me tell you a story so you see I'm not exaggerating. Miriam Fernandez was born with cerebral palsy. Doctors said she'd never walk, but she didn't believe them. Years later, not only was she walking, she was singing, giving talks, standing on stage sharing her story. She won a talent show and gave a TED Talk where she dropped a line that still echoes in many minds. The barriers aren't in your legs, they're in your mind. She didn't ask for an easier life. She became stronger. And do you know why? Because she understood that every challenge she faced was like lifting an invisible weight. And the heavier it was, the more strength she built inside. And that, my friend, applies to you too. I know your story isn't the same. Everyone's is different. But I can guarantee that you too have a teacher in front of you, dressed up as a problem. And even if you hate it now, one day you'll understand what it was trying to teach you. Picture this. Your car breaks down right before an important meeting. Your whole day gets messed up, everything gets delayed, and you're stressed. Do you know what can actually help you in that moment? Stoic philosophy, with a phrase from Marcus Aurelius that feels written for exactly this. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, don't run from the obstacle, turn it into your training ground. Maybe that delay forces you to reorder your priorities, to ask for help, to practice patience. And that, even if you can't see it yet, is shaping you. Because every tough situation forces you to choose, react or respond, complain or grow, run away or face it. And that moment, right there, is where character is built. Where, without realizing it, you're learning. Learning what? To focus on yourself, to trust your own resources, and above all, to move according to what you choose, not what the world throws at you. And since I know you want to start turning obstacles into tools, here's something you can try. Write down the name of your biggest current problem. It could be something personal, financial, family-related, anything. And next to it, write down a skill you're developing by facing it. Maybe you're learning patience, or humility, or how to set boundaries. And you didn't notice it because you were too busy suffering instead of stepping back. This simple shift changes the narrative. It's no longer, why is this happening to me? But, what is this doing for me? Also, when you're facing an obstacle, try not to stress more than necessary. Pause for a second and say in your mind, this is training me. Even if you don't feel it, even if it sounds ridiculous, say it. That phrase is like a switch. It doesn't change what's happening on the outside, but it shifts what's happening inside. And that's where real change begins. And yes, I know, it's hard sometimes, but hear me out. Every time you choose not to give up, you're building a character strong enough to carry anything. And that's what this path is about. It's not about everything going well, or expecting the world to go easy on you. It's about focusing on yourself, believing in your strength, and acting from that inner place no obstacle can touch. And if you start looking at your problems that way, you're already winning. So my friend, stop fighting your obstacles. Look them in the eye. Ask them what they came to teach you, and above all, use them to become unstoppable. Now tell us in the comments, what obstacle marked a before and after in your life? What lesson did it leave you? Maybe by sharing it, you'll help someone going through something similar today. And if you don't know where to start, just write, "This obstacle is training me," because sometimes putting it into words is the first step to transforming it. 3. Do you know where you're headed? There's a feeling that drains you more than physical exhaustion. That mix of burnout and emptiness that shows up when you feel like you're doing a lot, but none of it fulfills you. Like you're trying hard, but seeing no results. Like you're constantly in motion, but going nowhere. It's like rowing a boat with all your strength, but with no rudder. You can sweat, grit your teeth, row until your arms ache, and still end up in the same place. Because when you don't know where you're going, every effort becomes exhaustion. This happens to a lot of people without them even realizing. They sign up for tons of courses, start multiple projects, pack their schedule with tasks, commit to everyone. But when the end of the month comes, they feel like they haven't moved. Why? Because they've been putting out fires, running in circles. They're busy, yes, but not connected to what they truly want. They're not building a life. They're just surviving in the chaos. And I'm not the only one saying this. Seneca said it centuries ago, with a line so relevant it might as well have been written for you. If a man does not know to what port he is sailing, no wind is favorable. You can have discipline, motivation, even talent. But if you don't know where you're aiming your energy, you're just drifting through the sea of urgency. And no, you didn't come into this life for that. Because when you don't have a clear direction, everything distracts you. Any opinion shakes you. Any setback knocks you down. But when you know what you want, your focus sharpens, your confidence grows, and even your smallest decisions start to make sense. That's what makes the difference. Not living in reaction, but acting from your own center, from what you want to build. Productivity expert Thomas Frank puts it perfectly. He says that clarity of goals doesn't just make you more effective, it makes you freer. Because the world stops organizing your schedule and you start doing it yourself. And even though it sounds simple, that's a massive step toward a life lived with focus, conviction, and intention. So, how do you actually do this? How do you know where to go when everything feels important? Don't worry, you don't need a 10-year roadmap. You just need to start listening to yourself more. Here are 3 tools you can start using today. First, every Sunday, take 10 minutes to ask yourself a powerful question. In what direction do I want to move this week? Don't look for the perfect answer. Just connect with what feels right. And from there, write down 3 specific actions. For example, if your direction is to recover your well-being, your 3 actions could be: get 8 hours of sleep 3 nights, go for a 20-minute walk each day, and eat 1 meal a day without your phone. Small actions, yes, but chosen with intention, and that already changes everything. Second, create your minimum vision. Don't think 10 years ahead, think 3 months. Who do you want to be in 3 months? Write it in the present tense, as if you're already that person. I'm someone who finishes what I start. I'm someone who respects myself and sets boundaries. I'm someone who makes time for what matters. This exercise doesn't just give you clarity, it gives you emotional direction, because you're not just dreaming, you're designing. Third, when you feel lost or overwhelmed, go back to that vision and use it like a compass. Ask yourself, does this bring me closer to or further from the person I want to be? You don't need every detail to be aligned, but your most important decisions should point in that direction. And if it's still hard, think about this. Even the biggest ships need to adjust their course from time to time. What matters isn't having the whole map. What matters is not letting the sea decide for you. You don't need grand plans, just a clear direction. Because when you know where you're going, your focus strengthens, your confidence locks in, and every step stops being a doubt and becomes a decision. That's how you start moving for yourself, trusting yourself, and acting from what you want, not from what others expect. And that, my friend, is already living for real. 4. Become so strong that nothing can break you. Ed Lattimore didn't wake up one day saying, "I'm going to change my life." No, of course not. He woke up one day with a swollen face, a sick stomach, and a deep emptiness that not even alcohol could hide. It was just another morning, but with one crucial difference. For the first time in years, he dared to look at his reflection and whisper, "I can't keep going like this." He was a boxer, yes. He had learned how to take hits in the ring, but outside of it, each day left him more beaten. The hangovers, the excuses, the chaos, they were destroying him from the inside. And there, right at that breaking point, where many give up, Ed made a decision that changed everything: to stop self-destructing. He started to rebuild himself with trembling hands, but with a conviction he had never felt before. He quit drinking. He distanced himself from the people dragging him down. He started writing, studying, creating a life with purpose. It wasn't quick or easy, but it was real. And when he talks about strength now, he's not talking about muscle. He's talking about character. He says, being strong isn't about enduring everything. It's about building yourself so solid that what used to break you doesn't anymore. That's the key. Because no, life isn't about dodging every punch. It's about becoming someone so steady on the inside that no punch can knock you out. You're not going to be able to control every storm, but you can learn to walk through the rain without losing your step. That's where true strength lies, in inner steadiness, in quiet discipline, in the determination to keep going even when everything seems against you. And maybe you don't see it yet, but you've already made it through things that would have crushed others, and you're still here. You may not feel invincible, but you've endured more than you realize. What's ahead isn't about surviving anymore. It's about shifting from endurance to transformation, from holding on to forging yourself. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men of his time, understood this better than most. He ruled during wars, plagues, betrayals, and still he wrote, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." Because living isn't about moving gracefully under perfect lights. It's about enduring, adapting, and advancing even in the mud. He didn't speak from theory, he spoke from practice, from a place of responsibility, pain, and purpose. And his strength didn't come from his title. It came from his mind. And this is where you can begin to strengthen yourself. Because when you learn to focus on you, to trust what you're building inside, and to act from your principles instead of reacting to everything outside, you transform. Not into someone who can endure everything, but into someone who no longer crumbles at anything. So, when the storm hits, when something shakes you hard, one thing that can help is this. Write down the 3 hardest things you've already overcome. Read it. Remember it. Go back there. Because if you made it through that, why wouldn't you make it through this? Another powerful habit is to create your own strength ritual. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just one small daily action that reconnects you to your center when everything feels off. It could be a cold shower in the morning, playing energizing music while reading that list, or writing down one phrase each night that reminds you what you're made of. Make it yours. Keep it simple but grounding. And when you feel like something is too much, try this Stoic phrase. This too is part of the training. Because it is. Every unexpected moment, every rejection, every painful hit is training you. It's teaching you how to endure, how to adapt, how to grow. Even if you don't get it yet, a stronger version of you is being born inside every difficulty. Strength isn't inherited, it's built, decision by decision, sometimes in silence with no audience, no applause. But every time you choose not to give up, every time you rise with more courage than complaint, you're growing. You weren't born fragile, you were just under construction. And if every choice is a brick, today you've got the materials to build something no chaos can tear down. A version of you so steady that even the fiercest storm can't shake it. Because when you become your own shelter, you no longer need life to be perfect to be at peace. 5. No one's going to applaud you for choosing yourself. Picture this. You're standing on a massive stage alone under a single spotlight barely lighting the space. You rehearse every day, you repeat your lines, adjust every gesture, perfect every detail. But in front of you, there's no audience, just an empty theater. And still you don't miss a single word. You don't let yourself, because you're not performing for applause. You're performing because that play means something to you, because that quiet effort is turning you into someone new. I hate to be the one to say it, but no one's going to throw a party because you put yourself first. No one's going to cheer because you skipped that meeting that added nothing to your life. No one's going to be thrilled that you started therapy or finally said no to something you used to agree to out of fear. Of course not. Because focusing on yourself isn't a show. It's an intimate act, a powerful one, and many times, a lonely one. Sometimes you try to improve your life and all you get in return is confusion. You're tired of feeling bad, so you decide to take care of yourself. You wake up earlier, start working out, reading more, distancing yourself from people who don't value you, setting new goals. And right then, instead of support, the comments start rolling in. You're acting weird. You're getting obsessed. You used to be more fun. And the worst part? Some of these comments come from the people you care about most. But my friend, the problem isn't that you're changing for the worse. The problem is that you're evolving, and your silent growth reminds others of what they're not doing. That's why Epictetus, with his brutal honesty, left us this gem. If you want to improve, be prepared to be laughed at. Just like that. Because growth makes people uncomfortable. Sometimes it hurts. But it also cleans things out, and it reveals who's truly with you, and who was only with the older version of you. Look at the case of Alex Fidalgo, journalist, creator of the podcast Lo Que Tu Digas. He had a steady job, a defined career path, but he felt like it wasn't his thing, that his voice belonged somewhere else. So he gave it all up to start from scratch. And of course, at first, people pointed fingers. You're crazy. That's not a real job. You're going to regret it. But while they talked, he recorded. He listened. He grew. Today, his podcast is one of the most authentic in the Spanish-speaking world. And many of the ones who once criticized him now admire him, quietly. Because applause almost never comes when you're just starting out. It comes when you don't need it anymore. So, how do you keep believing in yourself when no one seems to value it? First, create your own private progress file. Nothing public, nothing you post online, just for you. A notebook, a note on your phone, a folder on your computer where you write down what you're achieving. From that tough conversation you finally had, to that night when, instead of sabotaging yourself, you went to bed at peace. It's your silent proof that you're choosing yourself. Also, learn to spot those comments disguised as concern, the ones that sound nice but actually hold you back. You're isolating yourself. Take it easy, don't you think you're going too far? If they're not helping you become your best self, then no, you don't need to listen. Remember, you're not being selfish for growing. You're being brave for putting yourself first. And every night before bed, gift yourself this phrase: today, I chose myself. And that's enough. Let no one else say it. Let no one else shout it. Let it come from you. Softly, but firmly. And what if real success is just that? Being able to look back and say, I stayed true to myself when no one was watching. I respected myself without waiting for applause. I built myself from within. Because when you stop living to be liked and start living to be real, that's when everything finally makes sense. You no longer need stages or masks, just you, at peace with yourself. And that, my friend, is already a victory. 6. Prove to yourself that you can trust you. My friend, I want you to reflect on this. What if every time you break a promise to yourself, you're telling your mind, you can't count on me? You say you'll wake up early, then the alarm goes off. You hit snooze and roll over. You say you'll start on Monday, but Friday rolls around and nothing's changed. You say you're going to turn things around, but you fall into the same patterns again. Sound familiar? No, it doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you lack motivation. It means, without realizing it, you're proving to yourself every day that you're not someone you can trust. And when that happens, something inside starts to crack. Because trust doesn't come from repeating motivational quotes in front of the mirror. It comes from keeping your word, from your promises carrying weight, even when no one else hears them. And I'm not saying this from a pedestal. I've been there too. There was a time when I made giant to-do lists. Wake up at 6, meditate, read, eat healthy, work out, study a language, start a project. And in the end, I wouldn't stick to even 2 of those things. The result? Frustration, and a little voice inside whispering, "See? You always do this." Until one day I'd had enough. I made myself one promise, just one. For the next 7 days, I won't touch my phone in the first hour of the day. That's it. No extreme changes, no miracle habits. Just that. And I followed through, and you can't imagine how much that meant to me. It wasn't about the habit itself. It was the feeling of, I said it, I did it. That's when I realized I didn't need to change my whole life. I just needed to believe in myself again. Slowly, quietly. That's when trust started growing. And from that day on, I've done whatever it takes not to disappoint myself. Epictetus said you shouldn't be ashamed of needing help. What you should be ashamed of is doing nothing about it. And many times, the first help you need is to stop sabotaging yourself, to stop letting yourself down, to stop betraying yourself with pretty excuses that mean nothing. And you know who talks about this with admirable clarity? Seth Godin. He's a writer, a speaker, one of the most original thinkers in the marketing world. But he didn't always have confidence in himself. For years, he tried to publish his books and received over 800 rejection letters. Even his own publisher gave up on him after several low-selling releases. That's when the doubts crept in. Doubts about his talent, his worth, his path. For a while, as he's openly shared, he thought maybe he wasn't good enough. Maybe he was wasting his time. But in the middle of that fog, he made a radical decision. To stop waiting for outside validation and start showing up for himself. To create without asking permission. To write every day. To keep going, even when he wasn't sure. And that's when everything changed. Because he understood something most people still don't get. Confidence doesn't come from results. It comes from commitment. That's why he says, confidence is not a promise of success. It's a decision to show up. That's it. To show up. To follow through. Even if it's not perfect. Even if it's hard. Even if no one's watching, it's not blind faith, it's real consistency. It's the moment you stop telling yourself stories and start writing them with your actions. I know you're ready to prove that your word means something. So here's a challenge. Choose one promise so small you have no excuse not to keep it. A micro action. It could be not touching your phone first thing in the morning, or writing down one sentence at the end of the day, or doing one push-up every morning. But do it for 1 week. No failures, no negotiations, no explanations. And if you miss a day, don't justify it. Don't say, I was tired, I had a rough day, I didn't have time. Say the truth. I didn't do it. Period. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also the start of a clean conscience. A conscience that looks you in the eye. Because only when you take full ownership can you start to change. Every time you follow through, you're building something inside. Something you can't see in the mirror, but you can feel in how you walk, how you decide, how you face life. And every time you break a promise to yourself, you're also building something. But what you're building is a wall between you and your best self. A wall that only your actions, not your excuses, can tear down. Now tell us, what micro-promise will you keep this week? No excuses, no justifications. Write it in the comments. Let that be your first act of commitment to yourself. Because when you follow through, you start focusing on yourself, truly believing in yourself, and acting from your own strength. And that, my friend, is something no one can take away from you. 7. Are you going to live just to please others? Every morning you wake up and begin the costume parade. First comes the model employee mask. the one who says yes to everything, even when you're on the edge of burnout. Then, the fun friend mask, the one who laughs at jokes, even when all you want is to go home. And if necessary, you put on the neutral and pleasant person mask, the one who never says what they truly think, just to avoid making anyone uncomfortable. You wear them so often you can't even remember the last time you were just you. And of course, by the end of the day, when you finally take off all those disguises, all that's left is exhaustion, the kind that comes from forced smiles, from not saying no, from pretending to please, and still feeling like you don't really belong. But hey, it's not your fault. The need to please isn't just about being polite or well-mannered. It's a survival strategy, a defense many of us picked up early on. We learned that if we were agreeable, if we didn't argue, if we adapted to what others wanted, we'd be accepted. But that pattern, which may have protected us once, now holds us back. It makes us say yes when we want to say no, swallow our opinions out of fear of rejection, and live a life that doesn't feel like our own. And in case you didn't know, psychology has a name for this: sociotropy. Strange word, right? But you've lived it. It's that pattern where you bite your tongue to avoid conflict, where you do favors you don't want to do just so people won't think badly of you, where you say yes even while you're screaming no inside. And of course it builds up. Anxiety, frustration, even anger. Because living to please wears you down. And the worst part? You end up not even knowing who you are without all those yeses you never meant to give. My friend, enough. Living to please others is a trap. No matter how hard you try, you'll never be able to control what people think. There will always be someone who doesn't like what you do, what you say, or who you are. And if your self-worth is based on outside approval, you're building your identity on quicksand. So really, it's time to start doing things for you. Not to look good. Not to meet someone else's expectations. Ask yourself what actually feels right for you. Who do you want to be? What does a life look like where you choose yourself without needing anyone's permission? And yeah, it might sound like something off a motivational mug, but trust me, this isn't about cheap positivity. It's about dignity, about finally living in a way that gives you peace, not popularity. So how do you start living for yourself? First, start noticing when you're censoring yourself. How many times a day do you say what you think people want to hear instead of speaking your truth? How often do you do things you don't want to, just to avoid conflict or to be accepted? Second, practice being authentic in small doses. It's not about being blunt or harsh. It's about being honest, with yourself and with others. If something doesn't sit right with you, say so, with respect. If you don't want to do something, learn to say no without guilt, and surround yourself with people who accept you as you are. Real relationships are built on mutual acceptance, not on the constant pressure to please or perform. Remember, your worth doesn't depend on someone else's approval. You are valuable for who you are, not for what you do to keep others happy. My friend, focusing on yourself, believing in yourself, and acting for yourself begins the moment you stop shaping yourself to fit someone else's mold. Authenticity might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's the path to a full, meaningful life. So next time you feel the urge to quiet your voice just to be liked, ask yourself, do I want to be accepted for someone I'm not? Or loved for who I truly am? 8. Without consistency, you're going nowhere. Tell me the truth. How many times have you started something full of energy only to leave it halfway through? How many times have you told yourself, this time it'll be different? And 3 days later, you're back where you started. No, it's not that you lack willpower. It's that you're waiting to feel like doing something before you act. And I'm sorry to break it to you, but that's not how it works. Because if you only do things when you're motivated, you'll be stuck in a never-ending cycle of starting and quitting. Consistency doesn't feel epic. It doesn't come with soundtrack music or fireworks. But it's what separates the people who build their lives from the ones who just imagine them. Because, my friend, if you don't show up when you don't feel like it, you're never going to get anywhere. And you know who explains this in a clear, no-fluff way? Rob Dial, creator of the podcast The Mindset Mentor. In one of his episodes, he said something that made me stop in my tracks. It's not what you do one day. It's what you repeat when no one's watching. And he wasn't saying this from a place of perfection, but as someone who's built his discipline through stumbles. He said there are plenty of days when he doesn't feel like recording, training, or writing, but he does it anyway, because he knows the key isn't doing it when it's easy. It's doing it even when it's not. That's what makes the difference. Not a surge of inspiration, but those quiet, repeated, almost boring steps. But they're consistent, and that's what builds real confidence. Not because you did it once, but because you're showing yourself you can do it every day. Consistency, even when it feels dull, is the foundation of any real transformation. Imagine you want to leave your job and start your own thing. And to do that, you need to learn a new software. So what do? Try it for a day, and when it's hard, wait to feel motivated again. You won't make it with one burst of effort. You'll make it with 1,000 quiet actions, 1,000 steps that, on their own, don't impress anyone. But together they build the path to your best self. And yes, it's hard, because your brain is wired to save energy. It loves shortcuts and instant rewards. So the moment things get uncomfortable, your mind starts whispering, "It's okay if you skip today and you'll make up for it tomorrow." But tomorrow says the same thing. And then the month ends, and you wonder why nothing's changed. So how do you break that cycle? First, create what I call a visible tracker. Something that reminds you daily that you're following through. It could be a sheet on the fridge where you mark an X every day you stick to your commitment. It could be an app, a calendar, a bracelet, whatever. The point is to see it. And every time you hit 8 days in a row, celebrate it. Do something just for you. Give yourself a reward. It could be a free afternoon, your favorite meal, a walk somewhere you love. Make it a game. Make it part of who you are. And second, eliminate the question, "Do I feel like it?" from your vocabulary. No, it's not about feeling like it. It's about deciding. Every time you catch yourself hesitating, replace the question with this statement: "I can and I want to do this," even if you don't feel it yet. Saying it puts you back in control. It puts you in the driver's seat, not just watching from the sidelines. Marcus Aurelius, who had no time for excuses, said it clearly. Do what nature requires of you. Don't get distracted by anything else. And what's required of you isn't a motivational speech in the mirror. It's action. Even when you're tired, even when no one is watching, even when there are no results yet, because that's where those who truly believe in their path are forged. And just so you don't get overwhelmed, let me remind you, you don't need to do 1,000 things. Just one, but every day. Because success doesn't arrive in a giant wave. It comes drop by drop, habit by habit, day after day. If consistency were visible, you'd see it building the bridge to the person you want to become. And the sooner you start walking across that bridge, the sooner you'll get to where you truly deserve to be. 9. Thinking without acting gets you nowhere. There's something we all do without even realizing it, that sounds productive but isn't. We think a lot. We think about what we should do, what we could achieve, everything that would change our lives if we just started. We tell ourselves, "I've got a great idea, I'll do it when I have more time," or "I'll wait until I feel ready." And just like that, we become geniuses in theory, but eternal beginners in practice. Having ideas without acting on them is like owning a bike without wheels. You can admire it, imagine all the places it could take you, but you won't move an inch. It's just decoration. Action is what sets transformation in motion. And this is where most people fail, because they mistake mental clarity for real progress. My friend, no, thinking is not moving forward. Planning is not building. And wanting something doesn't mean you're actually doing something to get it. Seneca wrote this centuries ago, as if he already knew exactly what we'd be dealing with today. While we waste time hesitating and postponing, life speeds by. Picture Seneca skipping sword training because he was waiting to feel more energized, or canceling a meeting with the emperor because he wasn't in his best mindset. Of course not. In his time, there wasn't much room for excuses. You either acted, or the days dragged you along. That hasn't changed. The only difference is, now we have way more distractions to justify inaction. Speaking of modern times, Stephen Bartlett, creator of the podcast The Diary of a CEO, said something you need to tattoo in your mind. The biggest enemy of your success is the part of you that says tomorrow will be a better day to start. This comes from someone who built a multi-million-dollar company from scratch. And how did he do it? Not by waiting for the perfect moment, but by starting before he felt ready. Because if you wait for everything to line up, you'll be waiting forever. I get it. It's hard to take that first step. Sometimes you're scared, sometimes you're tired, and a lot of the time, you're just stuck in the habit of putting things off. But if you don't act, you don't move forward. So here are 3 ideas to help you stop overthinking and start doing. First, every morning, write down one non-negotiable action. Just one. But make it clear, simple, and direct. Don't write, be healthier. Write, do 20 squats right now. Don't say, be more productive. Say, read 5 pages right now. Make it so specific that you can't lie to yourself. Second, use what I call emotional airplane mode. When your brain starts spiraling, when you feel that inner voice saying, maybe later, act immediately. Don't give your mind time to build excuses. Cut through doubt with movement. Like turning on airplane mode before your phone rings. Do it fast, without overthinking. And third, when you catch yourself stuck in a mental loop again, say this to yourself. Deciding is cutting. If I don't cut, I stay stuck. Because deciding doesn't mean thinking more. Deciding means eliminating one option, closing the door to excuses, and opening the door to action. My friend, you could read every personal development book on the planet. You could listen to every podcast, watch every video like this one. But if you don't do anything with it, it's just like collecting tools and never using them. Real self-confidence doesn't come from what you know. It comes from what you do. As Marcus Aurelius said, a man's life is what his actions make it, not his thoughts, not his plans, his actions. So, what are you going to do with your life today? Because thinking is fine, but acting is what changes your story. So tell us, what's the first step you're going to take to act for yourself? This community will applaud you, because here, we all believe in you. 10. It's time to believe it. You've done the hard work. You've emptied the backpack, cleared your mind, chosen new paths, walked away from people who drained your energy. You've pushed through days with no motivation, acted without waiting for applause, and proved to yourself again and again that yes, you can. But there's still one thing left, and it's the hardest part of all. What if the final step wasn't doing more, but accepting who you are now? Because it's not enough to move forward if you're still dragging around the idea that you're not enough. It's like running a marathon, and then standing at the finish line with your head down, thinking you only made it by luck. Let me tell you something. A couple of years ago, a friend of mine was preparing for a competitive exam. He spent almost 2 years at it, waking up at 5 every day, turning down plans, skipping trips, giving up weekends. Every second was devoted to studying. On the day of the exam, he crushed it. He got the position, he did it, but do you know what he told me a week later? I think I got lucky. It was probably just because the others were nervous. And it broke something inside me. Because that's when I understood. The problem wasn't his effort. The problem was that deep down he still didn't believe he was enough. That's what's happening to you, even if you haven't seen it clearly yet. You're doing the work, you're growing, you're changing, but you're still looking at yourself through the eyes of your old version, the one who doubted, who sabotaged themselves, who always found an excuse not to take the leap. And no, my friend, you're not that person anymore, you just haven't accepted it yet. Believing in yourself isn't about repeating motivational quotes. It's about daring to look at yourself with respect, with truth. It's about accepting that you don't need to wear any more masks, that you don't need more proof to feel legitimate, that everything you've already done speaks louder than your insecurities. And yes, I know, it's hard. It's hard to sit in the space you built with your own sweat. It's hard not to run. It's hard not to seek approval. But that's where real freedom begins. Psychology puts it simply, the brain doesn't know the difference between reality and conviction. If you decide to believe you're small, even with the world at your feet, you'll still walk hunched over. But if you really decide to believe it, if you look in the mirror and tell yourself, yes, I did this, everything changes. Stephen Pressfield, author of The War of Art, says it like this: at some point, the warrior realizes he's no longer training. He's ready to fight. And you're there. You're no longer practicing. You're living what you once dreamed of. All that's left is to own it. The next time you doubt yourself, remember this line from Epictetus. First, say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. You know why you need to remember that? Because you already did it. Now you just have to believe it. If this whole journey has meant anything, it's this. Believing in yourself isn't the end goal. It's the key that unlocks everything else. Because when you do, you no longer need applause or permission or validation. You start living for you, by you, with you. And believe me, once you get there, there's no going back. You've heard it 1,000 times. You have to believe in yourself. But today, you've seen it from a different angle. You've understood that it's not about having everything figured out from the start. It's about building yourself step by step, with focus, with consistency, with quiet decisions no one sees, but that change everything. This path isn't easy, my friend, but you're not alone. Every part of this video has been a reminder that you can, that you have the power to start again, that when you choose yourself, even without applause, you begin writing the most important story of all, your own. And if something in this message lit a spark inside you, drop it in the comments. I'm ready to be me. And now that you know where to focus your energy, the most important part begins. Learning how to grow a little more every day. Because it's not enough to have goals if you don't become the person capable of achieving them. Stay with me in the next video, where you'll discover the Stoic secrets to improving yourself step by step, without losing your calm or your direction. Have you ever felt like every day is just the same as the one before? Like every morning feels less exciting, and each day you feel less joy, less drive to get out there and conquer the world? Let me be clear. Doing nothing to change that is costing you more than you think. Today, I want to wake you up and remind you that the time to get better isn't tomorrow, and it's not when everything is perfect. It's now. The question is, will you have the courage to fight for a life that's truly worth living? Will you have the guts to be better every single day? In this video, there's no room for mediocrity, only for conscious action and real progress. Today, you'll discover the Stoic secrets that will help you become better every day, with no excuses and no fear. Lessons born from Stoic philosophy, a roadmap to take back your life and leave behind that dull, lukewarm feeling. You don't need to be perfect to start. You just need the will to face your fears. Stay until the end and I'll show you how the Stoics turned every single day into an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and freer. Today is the day you'll do it too. Sometimes a simple accident can spark something that had been shut off for far too long. And for Laura, all it took was an apple rolling across the floor to realize she wasn't really living, just repeating meaningless days. She couldn't even remember the last time she had run. Not to catch the bus, not to escape the rain. She had simply stopped moving. That afternoon, as she walked home with her grocery bag hanging from her hand and her mind somewhere else, an apple slipped out and rolled until it stopped right at the feet of a man running in the opposite direction. He picked it up, handed it back to her, and before she could even thank him, he was already gone, his t-shirt soaked in sweat. On his back, in huge, uneven letters, it read, "Better today than yesterday." Laura stood still, the apple in her hand, that phrase etched in her mind as if someone had shouted it right in her ear. When she got home, she couldn't help but grab a piece of paper and write it down just like that. Better today than yesterday. That same night, while standing in the kitchen having dinner, she thought about how she had spent the past few months. Nothing bad, but nothing good either. Everything the same, every day a cheap copy of the one before, over and over again. The next day she left home 10 minutes early, just to try and see the man in the t-shirt again. She saw him running. No music, no watch, not competing with anyone. And then she understood. It wasn't about beating anyone, not even herself. It was about refusing to settle for staying in the same place. That day she decided to take the stairs instead of the elevator, even if she was gasping for breath by the 4th floor. She decided to eat a salad in the park instead of at her desk. She decided to text her brother, even though she hadn't spoken to him in months and didn't know what to say. And when she got home, she decided to meditate for 5 minutes instead of scrolling endlessly on her phone. That night, before bed, she wrote again on the paper, "Better today than yesterday." And the next day, the same. And the day after that too. Over time, that sheet filled up with little victories, clumsy but steady steps. She never stopped feeling a little tired or a little unsure. But every night she went to bed with the sense that she was building something, even if no one else could see it. Laura didn't become perfect or achieve anything spectacular. She just decided that each day would be a little better than the one before. And she kept her promise. Because working to be better every day isn't some grand goal. It's a humble choice, repeated quietly, even when it feels like nothing is changing. She still keeps that sheet of paper, full of dates and small things she crossed off. And when someone asks her how it all started, she smiles and says, "The day an apple reminded me I could move." And now I'm asking you, how long have you been living like life is just a string of mediocre moments? If this question makes you feel uncomfortable, you already know what to do. Subscribe and become an exclusive member to start building a version of yourself that doesn't hide. And tell me in the comments, what have you gone too long without improving? Or simply write, "Stoic at heart. I work to be better every day." Because today you decide to stop settling and start moving toward the life you deserve. 1. Define your inner compass. How many times have you promised yourself that this time, for real, you're going to improve? But after a few days you don't even know where to start? Believe me, it's not that you're weak. It's that you're missing something obvious. If you don't know what better means for you, you'll never find it. People mindlessly copy what they see in others. But my friend, trying to improve without a compass is like climbing a mountain with someone else's map. Sure, you might reach a summit, only to realize it's not the one you wanted to climb. Some people kill themselves at the gym to get a perfect body, because they saw on Instagram that that's what success looks like. And then what? They don't even feel good, and it's not for their health. And when they finally realize it doesn't make them happy, they quit. That happens because they never stop to ask themselves, is this really mine? Or am I just following the noise? Picture this. You've spent years studying medicine because your whole family insisted it was what's best for you. You didn't sleep, you cried over your notes, you did endless shifts. And now every time you walk into a hospital, you feel like you can't breathe and you hate being there. And you know you never looked for your passion. You just followed the path others marked out for you because you were scared to change, scared to disappoint them. And now you find yourself with a knot in your throat wondering, what would my life look like if I actually worked for me? On my terms, not theirs. My friend, remember what Seneca said, "No wind is favorable to the one who doesn't know where he's going." He didn't say that to sound elegant or to have it framed on a wall. He said it because he lived it. For Seneca, every choice he made had to answer one clear question. Does this bring me closer to the life I want, or take me farther from it? When he was an advisor at court, he would write his letters at night so he wouldn't forget who he was or what he valued. He didn't let the applause or the criticism of others knock him off course because his compass was already set. You can do the same. It's not about writing philosophical treatises. It's about knowing what your port is and reminding yourself of it every single day. Even if no one else supports you, you have to do it for yourself, to be better every day. As Lex Fridman says, find your mission, even if no one understands it. Without it, you're nothing. So, are you ready to find your inner compass? First, write a brutally honest list of the things that make you feel alive, even if they sound ridiculous. Maybe dancing salsa at home in holy socks, cooking for your friends like you're a TV chef, spending whole afternoons fixing old bikes, throwing themed horror movie parties, reading poetry out loud. Whatever it is, as long as it's yours. Second, figure out what values are hiding in those things. If dancing makes you happy, is it because of the freedom? If hosting dinners excites you, is it because of the connection with others? If you love taking things apart to understand them, is it because of creativity? Third, put it to the test this very week. Say no to something that doesn't fit your compass and see how you feel. If your value is authenticity and you accept a date just out of obligation, then ask yourself if that brings you closer to yourself or farther away. So tell me, do you really want to keep running aimlessly just to feel like you're moving, even if it's towards somewhere you don't want to go? Or you can stop, choose your port, and start walking firmly, with the certainty that each day, no matter how small, you can be better than yesterday. Because it doesn't matter when you arrive, what matters is that today, tomorrow, and always, you keep building the life you truly want. 2. Win the battle at dawn. Let me ask you a simple question. What are your mornings like? Think about it. Do you wake up with plenty of time, or do you jump out of bed late, heart already racing? Do you have a calm breakfast, or do you drink your coffee standing up while searching for your keys and replying to a message? Do you even look at yourself in the mirror? Or do you run out the door without stopping for a second to remember who you are? My friend, you might not see it, but the way you start the day is the way you live it. If your morning is chaos, your whole day will be too. Mornings are like the foundation of a house. Nobody sees them, nobody comments on them, but they hold up everything that comes after. If they're solid, you can build anything on top. If not, sooner or later everything wobbles. Picture your ideal morning. You wake up without rushing, your head clear. You give yourself a few minutes to feel the ground under your feet, to breathe deeply. You sip your coffee calmly while the rest of the world is still asleep. Maybe you read a few lines. Think about how you'll respond to the day instead of just reacting to it. And when you walk out the door, you're already a stoic warrior, ready for whatever comes. Don't think this is trivial. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, explains that small morning actions trigger a positive chain reaction for the whole day. That feeling of having done something good early on gives you momentum to keep making good choices, even when problems come. Mornings are the spark that lights the rest. Marcus Aurelius said the same thing, and he lived it. Before facing enemies, bureaucracy, and betrayals across the empire, he would write to remind himself that simply being alive was already a privilege. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive. That kept him from being dragged along by everyone else's noise. And you can do it too, even if you're not an emperor. You just have to decide that that first hour of the day belongs to you. So, how can you do it? You can set your alarm 20 minutes earlier. That's it. You don't need to wake up at 5. But those 20 minutes are yours. When the alarm goes off, don't check your phone. Don't open your email. Just get up and spend that time on something that brings you peace. If it's hard to get up right away, don't beat yourself up. It's normal. You can leave a glass of water on your nightstand and drink it as soon as you open your eyes to wake yourself up. Or you can even picture Marcus Aurelius with his iPhone alarm blaring at 5 a.m., grumbling, "Time to fight the barbarians and the blankets," and still getting up anyway. Sometimes a little humor helps defeat laziness. Then, try writing, and in a notebook or even on your phone, a single sentence that sums up how you want to act today. Just one. For example, "Today I won't get caught up in what's out of my control," or "Today I choose to move forward even if it's slow." Write it down, read it out loud, and keep it in your pocket. When the day gets tough, read it again. And why not? Dare to take a walk around your neighborhood before the city wakes up. Put on your sneakers, go out without headphones, and walk for 10 minutes. Look at the empty streets, listen to the sounds of dawn. Feel that the world belongs to you for a few minutes before the noise begins. That feeling of being one step ahead of the day is a reminder that you've already won your first battle, because the battle is won the moment you open your eyes and decide not to give in to the chaos. Let your warrior's morning mantra be clear and yours. I own my day. Come on, write it in the comments and mark it as the start of your change. Today I own my morning, and that's why I'll be better than yesterday. 3. Break your own traps. Ah, my friend, excuses. You know them all, don't you? You don't have time. It's not the right moment. You need to fix 1,000 things before you can start. Believe me, I've been there too. I remember perfectly the time when I'd go around saying, very seriously, that I didn't have time to learn French. I repeated it so many times it even sounded convincing, almost professional, like I was too busy saving the world. But one day, I don't know why, I decided to actually time where my hours were going, and it became painfully clear. I spent 2 hours watching recipe videos on YouTube that I never cooked, 15 minutes staring at the washing machine spin as if it were some deep meditation, and suddenly, I'd find myself reorganizing the sock drawer for the 3rd time. It was ridiculous, but I kept looking for little distractions to not have time, as if I wanted to confirm my own excuse. I was setting traps for myself everywhere and then pretending I didn't see them. Maybe you do the same. You say you can't because you have to take care of your mom, because the plants won't water themselves, because your boss asked for an urgent report. And meanwhile, that course you've been excited about is still there, waiting for you in a browser tab. It's like each excuse is a little mousetrap you've set on your own path, and then you pretend they're not there. Breaking those traps isn't comfortable, but it's the first step if you really want to start being better today. Epictetus said it clearly. Don't demand that things happen as you wish. Wish for them to happen as they do, and you'll be happy. He didn't waste time whining about how hard everything was or dreaming of perfect scenarios. If something didn't go his way, he adjusted course and kept moving. Because excuses don't change reality, they just delay it. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you start walking toward the life you want. This also happened to Ali Abdaal. He had studied medicine and was working as a doctor, but deep down he was far more excited about his YouTube project. For years, he set himself 1,000 traps to avoid taking the leap. He told himself he couldn't throw away all those years of study, that his parents would be disappointed, that it wasn't the right time. Until one day he got fed up. He started working on his channel every day, improving without waiting for conditions to be perfect. Today, he helps thousands of people grow their businesses and found his purpose. His excuse, "I have to stay because I studied this," was nothing but fear. And you? How many traps have you already set for yourself today? Don't you think it's time to really improve? Next time you catch yourself saying, "It's just that," here's how to step out of your own trap. First, write down your most common excuse in a note on your phone and set it as your wallpaper. Every time you unlock your screen and read, "I don't have time," "It's too late, I can't right now," you'll feel a little embarrassed about clinging to the same lie. Then, replace it with a tiny action. If you say you don't have time to run, for example, put your sneakers by the bed and at least go for a 10-minute walk. It doesn't matter if you don't run a marathon. What matters is breaking the inertia. And finally, tell your excuse to someone you trust and ask them to call you out the next time you say it. Nobody likes being called out in public, trust me. It works. The things you want most are hiding right behind your favorite excuses. So, are you going to keep hugging them, or finally break them? 4. Move forward with giant steps. In a hidden valley where the sun barely peeked over the mountains, there lived a monk known for his strange habit. Every morning, while the village was still asleep, he would walk down to the beach with an empty bag and come back at dusk, his back hunched and his bag full of tiny stones. People watched him with curiosity, even mockery. "What does he think he's building? Collecting little pebbles," they whispered. But he just smiled. For years, his routine never changed. A slow walk to the shore, one stone at a time, a silent return. Weeks went by, then months, then decades, and it was only 50 years later, when his hands trembled and his hair was completely white, that his work revealed itself on the hill, a temple sculpted from those stones, beautiful, solid, and serene, that became the pride of the valley. Only then did the people understand that every small gesture, if repeated, can build something impossible to ignore. My friend, that story is not so different from yours. We all want to change overnight, do something big, feel like life turns around in a week. But the truth is, those who move forward with giant steps are the ones who, in the end, achieve what everyone else only dreams about. Picture this. You want to reorganize your home because you know the space you live in affects you. A clean environment helps you think clearer and feel more energized. But you open the door to that room full of boxes, clothes, cables, papers, and it feels impossible. You tell yourself you don't have time, that you can't right now, that maybe another day. You close the door and carry on the same. But what if instead of looking at everything all at once, you just look at one drawer? What happens if today you throw out what's useless, fold what's worth keeping, and just breathe? Tomorrow you could tackle another corner, and in a week, almost without noticing, you'd have created a space where you feel at ease, where things start to make sense. And with every drawer, every corner, you're not just improving your home, you're improving yourself. Epictetus said it best. We don't dare to do many things because they're hard, but they're hard because we don't dare to do them. We freeze, staring at the mountain peak, imagining how far it is, without realizing that you reach it one step at a time. If you start, it stops seeming impossible. So now you know. You don't need an Olympic leap or a heroic feat to start being better every day. All you need to do is move your foot and take that first step. And to make sure it doesn't stay just words, here's how you can start taking those giant steps. Start with a task so small you can't say no to it. Something that takes no more than 2 minutes and improves your environment, even if it seems silly. You can throw out those lonely socks that have been sitting in your drawer for years, dust off a corner, delete useless emails from your inbox. When you're done, don't say anything, just notice how you feel. Also, try spending a minute a day writing down something you accomplished. If today you cleared your desk and put all the papers away, write it down. Today, my space breathes better. That trains your mind to notice your own progress. And if you dare, leave little notes around the house to remind yourself that the small stuff counts too. A well played on the fridge, a one more step on the mirror, a you already started stuck to your computer. Trust me, they work more than you think. Giants aren't born giants. They grow inch by inch until one day they're impossible to ignore. And you can start growing that way today too, little by little, until one day you look back and see the temple you built with your own hands. 5. Break the bubble. Your comfort zone is like a hot tub. At first it's pleasant, warm, almost irresistible. But the longer you stay there, the more wrinkled you get, the stranger you start to smell. And yet you stay because it's comfortable. My friend, you don't even realize it. But that bubble that protects you so much is also suffocating you. And the worst part? You think stepping out of it means throwing yourself headfirst into a volcano, when really it's enough to just stick one foot out for things to start changing. You know who didn't stay inside his bubble? Epictetus. He understood it well. Difficulty shows what people are made of. And don't think he said that from a comfy chair with a glass of wine in his hand. He said it as a slave, living through discomfort every single day. And even then, he didn't settle for what he knew. He didn't cling to the safe. Because he understood that every time he stepped outside his comfort zone, every time he faced something hard, he discovered a new part of himself. Picture this. Your dream has always been to get up on a stage. You finally sign up for an improv theater class, full of excitement but with a knot in your stomach. You show up the first day and the first thing you see is professional actors warming up their voices, reciting Shakespeare from memory, looking at each other with confidence while you stand there sweating with your hands in your pockets. You feel like they're all staring at you, like a penguin in a chicken coop. Your legs shake, and for a second you think about turning around and leaving. But you take a deep breath, break your bubble, and decide to stay. That night, unexpectedly, you laugh like you haven't in ages. You feel alive, happy, and each Tuesday you come back, you feel yourself improving a little more. You meet incredible people, make friends, and then the best part happens. One day they call you to act in your favorite play. Do you see? That little discomfort ends up teaching you more about yourself than all the years you spent feeling safe. Writer and speaker Elise Loehnen talks about exactly this. On her podcast, Pulling the Thread, she explains how making yourself uncomfortable on purpose is a way to find your true voice. She shares how, for a year, she forced herself to do one thing a week that made her sweat with discomfort. From asking a question in public to dancing alone at a wedding where she didn't know anyone. And each time she came out a little stronger, a little more confident, a little more herself. And yes, I know it's not easy. I know the very thought of it ties your stomach in knots. But I trust you can do it, and that every day you can take another step to be better than yesterday. So let's do like Elise. First, make a list of 5 things you always avoid out of fear. Write them down without holding back. Anything goes. It could be raising your hand in a meeting and sharing your opinion, asking for a discount in a store, singing at karaoke, or maybe inviting someone for coffee. Choose the easiest one and do it this week. Then change just one daily routine. Something simple. Walk a different route to work, sit at a different table in your usual cafe, talk to the person in the elevator and ask how they're doing. At first it'll feel strange, but your mind will start opening up to the new. Finally, set yourself a silly social challenge. Something almost comical but effective. You could compliment a stranger on their shoes, ask the barista how their day is going, or smile at the first neighbor you see even if you don't know them. Those little cracks in the bubble let in fresh air and make you feel alive. Now tell me, what step are you going to take this week to break your bubble? Leave it in the comments. We want to hear it and cheer you on, because sometimes just one single move is all it takes for everything to start changing. 6. Become a master of mistakes. In Japan, they always tell the story of a potter who was considered the best in his region. But what no one knew was that he had a secret. Every week, on purpose, he would let one of his freshly made cups fall to the ground, shattering it into 1,000 pieces. Then he would repair it using the art of kintsugi, filling the cracks with gold, making the fractures not just visible, but the most beautiful part of the piece. When people found out, they asked him why he did it. He smiled and said, "Only someone who knows how to mend what's broken can say he truly understands his craft." Because right there, in those cracks, was the secret of how he became a master, improving every day, piece by piece. My friend, mistakes are your cracks. At first they hurt. They feel like a defeat. But if you learn to look at them properly, with patience and without shame, you discover that's where the gold is. Marcus Aurelius put it plainly, the harm doesn't come from what happens to you, but from your opinion about it. Because the mistake itself doesn't define you. What defines you is what you decide to do with it. And don't think this is just cheap consolation. I sometimes imagine Marcus Aurelius in the middle of an imperial crisis, surrounded by generals in a tent, admitting the strategy hadn't worked and saying something like, "Well, we failed. What's the next challenge?" And then moving forward without drama, head held high and a little wiser. Maybe it didn't happen exactly like that, but it's not hard to picture him facing his errors with that kind of calm and determination. The same thing happened to Tim Urban, the creator of the blog Wait But Why. At first, he published articles nobody read. He felt invisible, and he thought about quitting. But instead of running away from that discomfort, he read every comment, analyzed what wasn't working, and gradually improved his writing. And today, he's one of the most read writers in the world. His worst mistakes were his best school. Now picture this. You're trying to fix your toilet tank by following a YouTube tutorial. You tighten here, fiddle there, and suddenly the entire bathroom floods. You call the plumber, pride shattered, And as you watch him fix it in 5 minutes, you can't help but laugh at yourself. That's where everything starts to change. When you manage to laugh at your failures and see them as steps toward being better every day. So my friend, when the next crack appears in your path, here's how to turn it into art. Start by admitting the mistake out loud, even with humor. Tell someone, "Messed up again," and you'll see the shame loses its power when you dare to say it. Then write down what you learned, even if it seems silly. It can be something as simple as, "Don't use screwdrivers as hammers," or "Don't trust 15-second tutorials." And finally, keep a little reminder of the mistake. A photo, a note, an object that reminds you survived it, and that thanks to it you're a little better. Every crack you accept is a vein of gold that makes you more interesting and stronger. Making mistakes is the best way to learn to be better every day, because there's no growth without falls. And the hardest falls are the ones that teach you how to get back up with more grace. 7. Design habits that have your back. Picture this. You want to take care of your health, manage your weight, feel good about yourself. You leave work convinced that today's the day, but without even realizing, you pass by that same bakery as always, just to grab something, and end up walking out with a bag of pastries that's gone before you even get home. My friend, that's how habits work when you leave them to run wild. They control you like invisible puppet strings. You can't see them, but they decide how you move. Now imagine one day you dare to do something different. You take another route home, skip the bakery, and without meaning to, you find yourself walking past a little bookstore. At first you go in out of curiosity, flip through a few books. The next day you do it again. And little by little, you discover that every afternoon you end up reading there for a while. No more bakery, no more guilt. Now you've got something that actually does you good. That's how habits work in your favor. Small changes that settle in and back you up when you need them most. I had to learn the hard way that habits take you, whether you like it or not, to where you are now. And if you choose them well, they can also take you where you want to go. I remember one random Monday when I decided to schedule in my calendar that every Monday at 7 in the morning, I'd sit in a cafe and write. At first it was uncomfortable. Every Monday felt like a little battle with myself not to stay in bed. But I stuck with it. And over time, it became automatic. So much so that now the barista already has the usual waiting for me and saves my spot by the window. And thanks to that simple habit, today I'm achieving things I used to only dream about, because the hard part isn't starting anymore. It's stopping. The Stoics knew this by experience, not theory. Aristotle, whom they quoted over and over, said that excellence is built through habit. Nobody wakes up one day with perfect habits. You earn them by repeating. Nobody becomes disciplined overnight. That's something you work on day after day, even when your motivation is more absent than your friend on moving day. And for that very reason, can you imagine what Seneca would be like today? Picture him at the gym. He'd probably wear one of those shirts that says, "Habits over motivation," don't you think? Meticulously writing down each set of sit-ups in his notebook like they were eternal merits. It might sound funny, but they understood clearly that repeating the right thing day after day was the only way to get better. You probably know Cal Newport, author of Deep Work and a productivity expert. He always says habits keep you from relying on motivation. Because motivation comes and goes, but habit sticks. One of his favorite pieces of advice is to start so small you can't fail. And another, design your environment so the habit becomes inevitable. For example, leave your guitar in the middle of the living room if you want to practice, or turn off notifications if you want to focus. So, are you ready to let your habits fight for you when you're weak? First, pick a habit so easy you can't fail. Something minimal, like drinking a glass of water when you wake up, or doing 10 squats before putting on your shoes. The idea is to make it so simple you have no excuse not to do it. Next, tie that habit to another one you already do without thinking. For example, while waiting for the water to boil for tea, do 20 push-ups or stretch your arms and back. You don't need more time, just a little creativity. And finally, leave visible reminders in your environment. Put a book on your pillow to read before bed, or leave your sneakers by the door so you'll go out for a walk without thinking about it. That way, your surroundings push you in the right direction, even when you don't have the strength. You are what you repeat every day. Let your habits speak well of you when you can't, because every small gesture you make today is a better version of yourself being built, step by step. 8. Silence the noise in your head. Your mind, my friend, is sometimes like a hyperactive parrot with a megaphone. It never shuts up, always shouting the same things over and over. You're late. You're going to mess this up. Everyone's noticing. That parrot perches on your shoulder and talks like it's the captain of your ship. And sure, no, you can't turn it off completely, but you can learn to stop letting it be the one in charge. Did you know we spend between a third and half of our waking hours talking to ourselves? Think about that. Do you realize how many hours that is every week? It's like having an annoying coworker who never stops talking. And the worst part isn't just the amount of time. It's that most of the time we don't even use it to solve anything. We just worry, ruminate, and catastrophize. That mental noise, which could be a wonderful tool for thinking and growing, ends up becoming a curse that holds you back. And there's no way to move forward like that. That parrot distracts you, puts you in a bad mood, hurts your relationships because all you talk about are your problems, and even makes you blurt out things you later regret. As Epictetus said, we're not disturbed by things themselves, but by the opinion we have about them. And that parrot, my friend, is filling you with useless opinions all day long. Picture this. You finally sign up for that dance class you've been thinking about for months. You walk into the studio, look at yourself in the mirror, and the parrot doesn't even wait a second before it starts. Look at you. You look ridiculous. Everyone's watching. You're definitely the worst one here. Every step you take feels like a disaster in your head. But when the class ends, the instructor comes over, smiles, and says, "For your first time, you did really well." And suddenly you realize nobody was laughing, nobody was judging you. The only one sabotaging you was you. All that noise was just holding you back, when all you needed was to take the first step and get better today. So, my friend, when that mental parrot starts screaming in your ear, here's what you can do. The first thing is to create rituals to regain a sense of control. When the noise is loud, bringing order to your surroundings quiets it down a bit. You know who does this all the time? Tennis player Rafael Nadal. Between every point on the court, he drinks from his bottles in the same order and arranges them carefully before playing again. You don't need a racket, just something simple. When the noise in your head starts screaming, grab your headphones and play your favorite song for a couple of minutes. Or count to 10, breathing deeply while twirling your keys in your hand. Or even send yourself a text message with a phrase to bring you back to the present. That small, repeated gesture in your worst moments takes the megaphone away from the parrot and puts you back at the wheel, even in the middle of chaos. And also, give your critical voice a funny name. Call your parrot Captain Drama, Chatterbox, or the Boss. Next time it starts lecturing you, say, "Thanks, Captain Drama, but today you're not in charge." Just naming it already takes away some of its power. So now tell me, what are you going to call your parrot? Leave it in the comments along with a Stoic at heart, so we know that today you chose to silence the noise and start getting better every day. Because, believe it or not, you are the one steering the ship, not that parrot with a megaphone. And if after all this you're still wondering where to start to be better every day, watch the other video on the screen. It's not magic, it's not shortcut, but it'll give you exactly the push you need to get moving. 9. Stop spying on other people's lives. Tell me, how many times do you open social media only to end up feeling like your life is a joke compared to everyone else's? You see one person on a paradise beach, another at the gym with magazine cover abs, someone else flying first class while you, my friend, sit at home in your pajamas with cold coffee and a mountain of tasks staring at you from the table. And of course it feels impossible not to compare yourself. But I want you to really think about it. Comparing yourself is like trying to cook your dish by following someone else's recipe. It might look pretty in the photo, but chances are it'll come out undercooked, inedible, because you don't know what ingredients they have or how long they've been working on them. And while you're busy spying on their plate, Yours is burning without you even noticing. My friend, all that pulls you away from your own process. And your process is your advantage. No one else has your story, your obstacles, your drive. Seneca believed that a man should not compare himself to another, but to himself, from yesterday to today. And he lived that way. In the imperial court surrounded by luxury and power, he kept up his letters and meditations to measure himself only against himself. His goal wasn't to beat anyone, it was to improve a little each day. That's why, if you want to start being better today, the first thing you need to do is stop spying on everyone else's life. All that time and energy you waste watching what others are doing could be invested in you, in moving a little further down your own path. That's the real competition, with yourself, not with anyone else. First, every time you feel jealous or inadequate, write down exactly what you're seeing and what you think you're missing. Spell it out. I want to travel to Paris like her. I wish I had his body. I'd love to have a house like that. Then seriously question it. Do you really want it, or does it just look good on a screen? Ask yourself what effort it would actually take to get it, and whether you're really willing to pay that price. Often when you see it in black and white, you realize it isn't even your dream. You just envy it because it was sold to you so well. You can even write a second column next to it with what does matter to you, to remind yourself that your path is different. Then, create your own private reel with 3 things you achieved this week, no matter how small they seem. Organizing your room, going for a walk despite the rain, cooking something decent for dinner, helping a friend, but don't just leave it in your head. Actually record it on video or write it down and add photos. If you dare, put some epic or cheesy music to it and watch it like you're the protagonist of your own story. You can do it Sunday night and keep it for when comparison tries to creep back in. And if you feel like it, share it with someone close who knows how to appreciate your small victories with you. And finally, cut your time on social media by 20% this week. You'll barely notice, but believe me, you'll feel it. Set a timer on your phone or delete the apps from your home screen. Use that freed up space to move forward with what actually depends on you. You could read 10 pages of that forgotten book, learn a recipe just for yourself, write a couple of paragraphs in your journal, go stretch in the park, or even just sit in silence and plan tomorrow. The point isn't how much time you get back. It's using it to look at yourself and move forward, even if it's just a tiny bit each day. What would happen if you invested all that energy you spend comparing into building something worth looking at? Today you can start answering that question. And trust me, no one else has the recipe for your dish. 10. Turn your dreams into blueprints. There's a story that's always impressed me. It's about a brilliant man with ideas so big they could have changed the world. He dreamed of delivering free energy to the entire planet, imagined a wireless system to light up whole cities. In his mind, it was already done. He even sketched it all in detail in his notebooks and filled rooms with blueprints. But my friend, it never went beyond that. He worked, yes, but he was always missing something. Resources, support, the perfect moment. And while he waited, his health, his money, and his time slipped away. He died alone, his notebooks full of castles in the air. That man was Nikola Tesla. You might think that won't happen to you because your dreams aren't as crazy. But look closely. How many times have you said you're going to start your business, learn a language, change your life? And here you are. Your dreams are like castles in the air. Pretty, sure, but no one can live in them until you lay down the foundation. And the longer you wait to start, the further away they drift. I'm reminded of what Marcus Aurelius said. Do every act of your life as if it were your last. And no, I don't picture him putting off conquering his empire until inspiration struck or he bought the right toga. He did it, even if it wasn't perfect, because he knew there was no time to waste. Picture this, my friend. You've been saying for 3 years that you're going to launch your YouTube channel. You already have the perfect name in a folder, a logo designed by a friend, even an animated intro with epic music. You've even rehearsed in front of the mirror what you'll say in your first video. But every time it's time to record, you tell yourself you still don't have the right camera, You need a better mic. Today isn't a good day because you're tired. Meanwhile, you watch others start, make mistakes, learn, and get better, while you keep waiting for the perfect conditions. So, do you want to keep collecting pretty ideas or start building your reality? Do this. Choose just one goal and break it down. If your dream is to write a book, don't torment yourself over the table of contents or the chapters. Start with one paragraph today, even if it's bad. What matters is getting it out of your head and onto the page. Also, get yourself a notebook to force yourself to bring your dreams down to earth. Every week, write down one specific action with a date. No more someday. Give it a day and a time. And if you don't do it, double it the next week so your pride stings a little and you stop putting it off. And don't underestimate the power of something silly. Promise yourself a goofy reward for every step you take. When you finish your first video, have a croissant. When you write the first 3 pages of your book, do a ridiculous dance in your living room. That way your brain starts associating action with pleasure, not with suffering. So my friend, I ask you sincerely, are you going to keep dreaming or are you going to start building? Leave it in the comments and tell us. What's the first step you're going to take today to get closer to that dream? Remember, only by working on your dreams every single day, little by little, do you become someone better. And no one can do it for you. 11. Surround yourself with people who make you uncomfortable. My friend, there's something you need to learn before it's too late. The people who truly push you are not the ones showering you with compliments all the time. I learned that myself a while ago. I used to write stories and everyone around me, my friends, my family, kept telling me how good I was. You have a natural talent, they'd say. And of course I believed it. But deep down I felt stuck. Something didn't feel right. One day I signed up for a writing course. I thought it would just help me polish a few details, but on the very first day, after I read one of my stories out loud, the teacher looked at me and said bluntly, "Your story is empty. It sounds nice, but it says nothing." I froze. Inside I was furious. On the outside I tried to smile. That night I went home with my ego in pieces, but with a new feeling. Finally, someone had pushed me to get better. Having only agreeable friends is like boxing with an inflatable dummy. Comfortable, sure, but you don't learn a thing. Because the ones who challenge you, the ones who make you uncomfortable, are the ones who force you to step out of the bubble you've been hiding in and work on being better every single day. Epictetus himself put it perfectly. He who fears being criticized also fears learning. He didn't just accept corrections, he asked for them. I can picture him walking through the Roman market, looking for someone to tell him what he was doing wrong, laughing while everyone else squirmed. Because he knew that avoiding uncomfortable truths also means avoiding progress. Even the people we admire today understand this. Ryan Holiday, author and Stoic thinker, says that the best chapters of his books were born after his editor told him, "This isn't as good as you think." That phrase, instead of crushing him, made him write better drafts with more intent. Because he understood that surrounding yourself with people who make you uncomfortable is surrounding yourself with people who push you to grow every day. Maybe now you're wondering, but how do I do that without ending up feeling small or hurt? First, find someone in your circle who isn't afraid to say what they think, that brutally honest friend who never hands out compliments just to be polite. Ask them to read, watch, or listen to what you're doing and tell you the truth. And no matter how hard it is, don't defend yourself right away. Next, when you get criticism, take a breath and write it down somewhere. Save it, and once your head has cooled, read it again. What feels like an attack at first is often a valuable clue for improvement. And finally, look for new places where no one knows you. Sign up for a workshop, a class, a club where no one has any expectations of you, where no one claps out of habit. It's there, where no one owes you anything, that you learn the most. If you join those who aren't afraid to tell you the truth, sooner or later you'll stop being afraid of it yourself, because surrounding yourself with people who want to get better forces you to get better alongside them. So my friend, are you going to stay with the ones who stroke your ego, or with the ones who push you forward? And now that you know it all starts by daring to move, I'll leave you with the last Stoic secret. It might not be the most comfortable, but it's the most necessary. Because in the end, everything you do, or don't do, comes down to those small steps you take each day. And this last one, my friend, is the one that gives meaning to all the others. 12. Applaud every step and keep going. Let me tell you something that happened in my hometown that I'll never forget. There was a young carpenter everyone looked up to because they said he had golden hands. One hot summer afternoon, with the smell of sawdust thick in the air, I walked past his workshop and saw him standing still, staring at a chair. It was his first chair, freshly finished, and you could tell he'd poured his soul into it. So much so that even his master, a stern man of few words, patted him on the shoulder and muttered, "Not bad, kid." For several days, anyone passing by could see the young man in there, admiring the chair like it was a trophy, telling everyone who'd listen how he made it. Meanwhile, the master kept on working, hammering, cutting, filling the shop with new chairs, benches, even a massive table. One afternoon when I passed by again, I heard the master say something while sweeping the floor. "The hands that applaud don't build anything else." The boy, red with embarrassment, lowered his head, moved the chair aside, and got back to work. If you think about it, my friend, it's the same for you. Celebrating what you accomplish is good. It reminds you why the effort is worth it. But if you stay living in that moment, progress stops and you end up putting off what comes next. It's not about getting applause. It's about earning it every day. That's why Epictetus said, "Success is not in always winning, but in never giving up." He understood that the real prize wasn't others recognizing him, but knowing himself that he kept moving forward, even when nobody was clapping. Look, imagine this. You've been training for weeks, waking up early to run, and finally you manage to complete your first 5 kilometers without stopping. You feel invincible. You buy yourself a t-shirt that says "Runner" in huge letters. You post it on your socials. Everyone congratulates you. And then, 3 months go by and you don't run again, because you already felt like a champion with that one victory. That happens to a lot of people, and all they get is stuck in an empty round of applause while others keep moving forward. Chris Williamson, creator of the Modern Wisdom podcast, puts it like this: "Celebrate your achievements out loud, but then get back to work without complaining." It's simple. Honor what you did, but don't forget what's left to do. Because, my friend, today you have the chance to be better than yesterday, and that chance doesn't wait for you to finish clapping for yourself. So, do you know how to celebrate without moving into the party permanently? Treat yourself to something small when you achieve something important. Order that pizza you love or give yourself a movie and couch afternoon. But mark it in your mind as end of a stage, not goal achieved. The next day, get back to work. Then, write down what you learned thanks to that accomplishment. Maybe you didn't just run 5 kilometers. Maybe you learned to organize your schedule, to not quit when it hurt, to get up early. That reflection turns a simple result into a lesson you won't forget. And while you celebrate, already think about the next step. Dance, smile, but don't forget to lace up your sneakers for the next race while the music is still playing. That way the celebration doesn't stop your progress. It pushes it forward. My friend, applause is like fireworks. They shine, but the night goes on. Walk with that light and keep building. Because in the end, it's the daily work of becoming better that takes you to the success you truly deserve. Waking up and starting to work on yourself today is the real secret to being better every day. You don't need grand gestures or to wait until everything's perfect. All it takes is the will to take one more step, to not stand still, to build yourself little by little with each decision. Because getting better isn't magic, it's consistency. If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "I choose to grow every day." And once you've taken those steps and feel that you're no longer the same, there will come a moment when you need to go even further. Because some stages in life aren't meant to be improved. They're meant to be left behind. So in the next video, I'll show you how to completely reset your life. to let go of the old and start again with a clear mind and a strong purpose. Have you ever felt like every day is just a copy of the last? No matter how much you try to change, you always end up in the same place, stuck in the same routine, trapped in an endless loop. And there you are, unsatisfied, overwhelmed by responsibilities and tasks that drain you more and more. It's time to break that cycle once and for all. Today, I'm going to give you the keys to completely reset your life and reinvent yourself from scratch with the wisdom of Stoicism. No more excuses, no more stagnation, just action and real transformation. Because, my friend, the problem isn't life. The problem is how you're living it. You wake up, follow the same routine, tell yourself that one day things will change, but that day never comes. And you know what? It never will unless you make it happen. How much longer are you going to wait? The Stoics understood this centuries ago. The key isn't in the external chaos, but in how you face it. Today, we're going to break free from the outdated beliefs that have kept you trapped, and I'll show you how to use Stoicism to reset your life from scratch. This is the moment. Your new version starts here. Let's go. But first, let me tell you a story that will help you understand the power of reinventing yourself and starting over. This is the story of Pedro. Pedro worked at a big company in a stable and secure office job. He spent his days in front of a screen, crunching numbers and writing reports for executives he had never even met in person. He had been doing the same thing for years, trapped in the monotony of endless meetings, urgent emails, and repetitive tasks that sparked no emotion in him. But his real dream was far from that desk. Pedro had always wanted to travel, to experience different cultures, to discover new ways of living. He dreamed of the freedom to work from anywhere in the world without being tied to an office or fixed schedules. He imagined himself writing from a cafe in Italy, exploring temples in Japan, or watching the sunset on a beach in Thailand after finishing his workday. But instead, the years passed, and he remained in the same place, living the same days over and over, feeling like life was slipping through his fingers. Until one day, something changed. On his way home, he ran into someone he hadn't seen in a long time, his cousin Laura. They greeted each other enthusiastically, and after catching up, Pedro asked her about her life. Her answer left him speechless. "A few years ago, I completely changed my life," she said with a smile. "I'm a designer, and I travel the world while working with my clients." Pedro stared at her in surprise. He couldn't believe that someone he knew was actually living the exact life he had always dreamed of. Laura excitedly told him how her work allowed her to move from country to country without being tied to an office. "Last month, I was in Norway, working from a little house in the mountains. Now, I've been in Mexico for a few weeks visiting family, but in 2 months I'm heading to Asia. I've always wanted to explore that continent, so I plan to spend some time there. Imagine waking up and working from a terrace with a view of the jungle or the ocean. Then, after work, I go out to explore temples and discover amazing places. This is my life now." As Laura spoke, Pedro felt a mix of admiration and frustration. How had she done it? How had she managed to achieve what he had always dreamed of but thought was impossible? He couldn't help but ask out loud, "How did you do it? How did you leave everything behind and start this new life?" Laura smiled and answered honestly, "I realized that if I didn't do it, no one else would do it for me. I spent years waiting for the perfect moment until I understood that it was never going to come. So, I made the decision to start with what I had." Pedro looked at her curiously, and she explained each step. "First, I learned new skills that would allow me to work from anywhere in the world. Since I always loved graphic design, I took online courses and improved my portfolio. Then I started taking on small projects while still keeping my full-time job. I won't lie, it was exhausting, but every project brought me closer to my goal. After that, I cut my expenses to a minimum and saved enough money to feel secure. I sold things I didn't need and eliminated unnecessary costs. And finally, I prepared a backup plan. I didn't want to jump in blindly, so I found a stable remote job before making the final leap. Pedro remained silent. Laura had done everything he had always wanted to do, and it wasn't magic or luck. It was simply action. That conversation made him realize that the only difference between them was the choices they had made. That same night, instead of collapsing on the couch and getting lost in his phone, he did something different. He searched for online courses to see how he could adapt his skills to a remote job. He created a savings plan to set aside enough money in the coming months. And like Laura, he also came up with a backup plan to make the transition smoothly. The first few months were tough. The excuses were still there, and fear tried to hold him back. But every small step brought him closer to his dream. He no longer woke up dreading the day ahead. Now he opened his eyes each morning with excitement for a better future. Until one day, the moment finally came. There he was, Pedro, at the airport with his backpack, a one-way ticket, and a spark in his eyes that he hadn't felt in years. And yes, he was scared. He knew there would be tough days, but he also knew it would be worth it. And you? How much longer are you going to wait? How many times have you let fear or routine steal your excitement for life? Today, I'm going to show you how you can completely reset your life, just like Pedro did, because no one is going to do it for you. If you want a new life, you have to go out and create it. Are you ready? Before we continue, if this content is helping you realize that it's time to reset your life, consider subscribing and becoming an exclusive member to access unique benefits. And tell us in the comments, what's the first step you're going to take to completely reinvent yourself? Or just type, I am Stoic. That way I'll know you're one of us. We want to grow together with you. Now, let's get started. 1. Clear out your old beliefs. Do you know what the biggest obstacle to changing your life is? Here's a hint. It's not your circumstances. It's not a lack of opportunities. It's what you believe about yourself. Think about this. If you had grown up hearing that you were intelligent and capable, if you had been raised with the certainty that you could achieve anything you set your mind to, how different would your life be today? But no. Maybe what you heard instead were limitations. You can't do that. That's not for you. Doing that is too risky. And without realizing it, you carried those words with you as if they were absolute truths, when in reality, they were just other people's opinions. The human mind works like an old storage room full of boxes. Many of them have been sitting there for years, collecting dust. Some contain useful memories, lessons that have helped you grow, but others are filled with limitations, fears, and excuses that don't even belong to you. Beliefs inherited from family, school, and society. Beliefs like, if you fail, it's because you're not good enough. At a certain age, you can't start over. If you don't have natural talent, don't even try. Do you realize how heavy those boxes are? And the worst part is that you're still carrying them without ever questioning if you need them. Do you think a Stoic would accept these invisible chains? Imagine Marcus Aurelius waking up every morning thinking, I can't be a good emperor because I wasn't born with a talent for ruling. Or Epictetus saying, I'm a slave, so I have no right to take control of my life. If they had thought that way, they would have never changed their destiny. But they did the exact opposite. They broke free from limiting beliefs and replaced them with unshakable principles. Epictetus couldn't choose his origins, but he could choose his mindset. And that's why his name is still remembered centuries later. Now tell me, how many of your own beliefs are holding you back without you even realizing it? How many "you can't do that" thoughts are stopping you from changing your life today? Try this. Write down 3 beliefs you have about yourself. Now, question them. Is this belief really mine, or did someone else impose it on me? Does it help me move forward, or does it keep me stuck? If a friend told me this about themselves, would I believe it or try to open their eyes? If that belief limits you, it's time to throw it out, just like you take out the trash every day. Change the way you think, and you'll change your life. Because every time you tell yourself, I'm not capable, I can't, that's not for me, you're reinforcing invisible chains. But when you decide to say, I'm going to learn, I'm going to try, I'm going to prove what I'm capable of, that's when real transformation begins. Clear out your mind. Get rid of old beliefs. Let go of what no longer serves you, because every limiting belief you remove creates space for new opportunities. And trust me, my friend, once you clear out the dusty old boxes, you'll see just how much room you have to build the life you've always wanted, but never allowed yourself to have. 2. Consistency beats motivation. A new project, an ambitious goal, a big change in your life. At first, everything feels possible. You feel that spark, that excitement that pushes you to take the first steps. But then, when the novelty wears off and the real effort begins, motivation disappears, and you fall back into the same old patterns. Have you ever wondered why you always start with enthusiasm but never make it to the finish line? Let me tell you where the problem is. You think you need to feel motivated to change your life. But if you rely on motivation, you'll never achieve anything truly worthwhile. Motivation is like a matchstick. It lights up fast, burns bright, but goes out in seconds. Consistency, on the other hand, is a whole different story, my friend. Consistency is the superpower of everyday life. It's like a bonfire. It starts with a small spark, but if you feed it daily, it becomes unstoppable. And if what you want is a complete reset, a real transformation, you don't need more inspiration. You need more consistency. Psychology has proven it. A study from Stanford University revealed that people who rely on motivation to take action are more likely to give up on their goals. On the other hand, those who focus on discipline and habits achieve lasting change. And do you know why? Because it stops being about whether they feel like it or not. They simply know their goals and do what needs to be done. Think about an ant. Yes, you heard me right. An ant. An ant doesn't wake up every morning wondering if it feels like gathering food or if it should rest a little longer. It doesn't waste time negotiating with itself. It just does what it has to do, day after day, no excuses, without waiting for motivation. And thanks to that discipline, that unwavering consistency, it builds shelters, survives harsh winters, and thrives in any environment. If an ant can do it, so can you. The key is simple. Just act. Don't overthink it. Don't negotiate with yourself. Don't create obstacles. Just do what you know you have to do. Do you think the great Stoics waited to feel motivated before changing their lives? Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, lost everything in a shipwreck. He could have complained. He could have waited to feel better before taking action. But he didn't. He decided that his reinvention wouldn't depend on how he felt, but on what he did every single day. And that's how one of the most powerful philosophies in history was born. So tell me, how many times have you let a lack of motivation hold you back? How many attempts at change have faded away just because, at some point, they stopped feeling exciting? My friend, it's time to stop relying on motivation. Start building habits. Make it easy for yourself. If you want to write, start with just 10 minutes a day. Don't wait for inspiration. If you want to work out, set out your clothes the night before so there are no excuses. If you want to get better at something, practice every day, no matter how you feel. If you really want to reset your life completely, you have to do something different from what you've always done. And that means committing to the process, even when you don't feel like it. Because in the end, it doesn't matter what you do when you're motivated. What matters is what you keep doing when you're not. Now tell me, are you going to keep waiting for inspiration? Or are you going to start acting today like an ant, just doing what needs to be done every single day? 3. Make peace with failure. Failing is not the problem. The problem is how you react to failure. Look at it objectively. Every time you fail, there are only two paths. Either you turn it into an excuse to give up, or you use it as a springboard to improve. What defines your destiny is not whether you fail or not, because we all do, but what you decide to do with each setback. Think about that time you set out to start a project, but after months of effort, it didn't work out, and you convinced yourself that "You're not good at this." Or that time you spent weeks preparing for an exam, but when the day came, nerves got the best of you, and you didn't get the result you were hoping for. What did you do afterward? Let me guess. You beat yourself up, told yourself you weren't good enough, and walked away from that goal, when in reality you were closer to achieving it than you thought. And here's the real issue. It's not failure that holds you back. It's the way you choose to interpret it. If Marcus Aurelius had believed that an emperor couldn't make mistakes, he wouldn't have been able to govern through crises and wars. If Thomas Edison had given up after his first failed attempts, the world wouldn't have the light bulb today. And if Epictetus had thought that a slave had no right to greatness, he would have never become one of the most influential philosophers in history. Now it's clear, isn't it? Sure, from the outside everything seems obvious, but when we look inward, we fail to see things for what they really are. My friend, the key is not to avoid failure, but to learn how to use it to your advantage. Think about this. Every time you fail, your mind gives you an ultimatum. You can take it as proof that you're not good enough, or you can take it as an opportunity to improve. The difference between those who reinvent themselves and those who stay stuck in the same place is how they respond to that ultimatum. There is a psychological experiment that proves this. Carol Dweck, a professor at Stanford University, conducted a study with children who were given difficult math problems to solve. Half of them, upon realizing they couldn't solve them, said things like, "I'm not good at this," and gave up. The other half, however, reacted completely differently. They said, "I don't understand it yet, but I'm going to try again." And with that mindset, little by little, they figured out the exercises. The difference wasn't intelligence, it was the way they viewed failure. And here's more. Years later, those same kids were studied again. Do you know which ones were more successful as adults? Of course, the ones who saw challenges as opportunities to improve, the ones who understood failure as a learning experience. Now tell me, how many opportunities have you let slip away out of fear of failure? How many times have you given up after a failed attempt when all you really needed was to push a little further? If you truly want to reset your life completely, you have to do something different. And that means changing your relationship with failure. Here are 3 rules that can change everything. First, every time you fail, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? But not to punish yourself, only to improve. Second, never let failure define who you are. You're not bad at something, you're just learning. And third, if something isn't working, adjust the strategy, but keep moving forward. It doesn't mean you can't achieve it, it just means you haven't found the right way yet. Make peace with failure. It's not your enemy, it's proof that you're moving forward. 4. Stop carrying what's already in the past. The past. That enemy that keeps hurting us over and over again, even though it's no longer here. We live chained to what happened, and the worst part is we don't even realize how much we're weighed down by things we can no longer change. Some time ago, I ran into an old friend. The moment I saw him, I noticed something. He was trying to smile, but his posture gave him away. He looked like he was carrying an invisible weight. We sat down to talk, and as soon as I asked how things were going, he let out a sigh. "I feel like I'm not moving forward," he said with that look of someone whose mind is trapped in an endless loop. "If only I could go back and do things differently." He told me how he was still punishing himself over a relationship that ended badly. He blamed himself, replayed every mistake, every wrong word, every poor decision. And not just that. He kept thinking about opportunities he never took, about choices that once seemed right but that he now saw as mistakes. I looked at him for a moment and said something that left him in silence. The problem isn't what happened. The problem is that you're still living there. Because that's what was destroying him. Not the past itself, but his inability to let it go. Marcus Aurelius put it clearly. If something external pains you, it is not that thing that troubles you, but your judgment of it. And this you have the power to change right now. Do you realize how powerful that is? The past doesn't hurt you. What hurts is the way you keep reliving it in your mind. And the worst part is that carrying the past is like trying to run with a rope tied around your waist. Every time you try to move forward, it pulls you back. It won't let you progress. It won't let you reset your life. It traps you in an endless pause. And instead of cutting the rope, most people keep pulling on it, wondering why they're not getting anywhere. Until when? How much longer are you going to keep looking back, reliving the same mistakes, punishing yourself for things you can't change? I asked him that to make him reflect. Time passed and I didn't see my friend again for months. But when I did, I instantly knew something had changed. He looked different, lighter. Like for the first time in years, he was breathing without that weight on his shoulders. "You dropped the backpack, didn't you?" I said with a smile. He nodded, and I realized I always had the option to do it. I just didn't want to accept it before. Because that's the truth no one likes to hear. The past isn't holding you back, you're the one still holding on to it. If you truly want to reset your life, you need to understand this. What's done is done. And it's not just a famous song, it's a fact. No matter how many times you replay it in your head, you can't rewrite it. But you can decide what to do from this moment forward. So here are 3 truths that can help you let go of the weight once and for all. The past doesn't define who you are. It only defines who you were. Today, you have the power to decide who you become. What happened no longer exists. The only thing left is the meaning you choose to give it. And know this, my friend. You will never move forward if you keep looking back. Let go of the rope. Cut the cord. Stop dragging what no longer belongs to you. So tell me, are you going to stay tied to what was, or are you going to start building what could be? If something is holding you back, share it in the comments. Take it as a commitment to yourself that today, finally, you decide to let it go. 5. Start over as many times as necessary. How many times have you told yourself that it's too late? How many times have you thought that after failing so much, there's no point in trying again? Well, I'm going to be very direct with you. That is the biggest lie you can tell yourself. It doesn't matter how many times you've fallen. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you are. Do you know the only thing that does matter? How many times you're willing to get back up. And trust me, I know this firsthand. There was a moment in my life when I felt like there was no point in trying anymore. I had put everything on the line for a project, for an idea I believed in, and I failed. Not once, but multiple times. And with every setback, my confidence wore down even more. I reached a point where I asked myself if it was really worth continuing, or if I should just accept that maybe I wasn't meant for this. I remember one night in particular, after yet another failed attempt, I sat there in the dark with no motivation to keep going, with no strength to start again. I felt like a sandcastle destroyed by the waves, every effort wiped away before it could take shape. But do you know what I did in that moment? Once again, I turned to the Stoics. It's not because things are difficult that we don't dare, but because we don't dare that they are difficult. These words from Seneca hit me like a lightning bolt. How many times do we stop trying just because we convince ourselves that something is impossible? That realization completely changed my perspective. That was my turning point. I understood that I hadn't lost. The only real defeat would have been staying there, feeling sorry for myself. So, I tried one more time, and then again, and again, and with each new attempt, I learned. I improved. Until one day, what once seemed impossible started to take shape. And here's where science comes in. A study from Stanford University found that people with a growth mindset see failure as part of the learning process. To them, failing doesn't mean they're not good enough. It simply means they haven't found the right way yet. And those are the people who ultimately succeed. If you want to reset your life, you have to understand that you will have to go back to the starting point over and over again. And no, this is not a setback. Think of it as an endless reinvention, like restarting a level in that video game you love so much, or rereading that book that inspires you every time. My friend, as the Stoics taught us, a man is not defined by his failed attempts. He is defined by how many times he dares to try again. Every time you think about giving up, remember this. It doesn't matter how many times you have to start over. What matters is that you never stay stuck. Every new beginning is proof that you still believe in yourself. And that, my friend, is the only thing you truly need. 6. Don't let anything external control your mind. Tell me, who is in control of your life? Think about it for a moment. Don't answer instantly. Because if your mood depends on what others say, if your peace is shattered by one negative comment, if you change your decisions out of fear of what people might think, then you are not the one controlling your mind. And the worst part is that most people live this way, like ships adrift, tossed around by every wave that hits them. One bad day at work and their mood crashes. One criticism and their self-esteem crumbles. One small adversity and their whole world falls apart. How many times has this happened to you? Think about that friend who always says, "I'm in a bad mood because my boss is useless," or "I can't be happy because my partner doesn't understand me," or that relative who at every Christmas dinner complains about how the government, the weather, or the economy is ruining their life. From the outside, it's obvious, isn't it? These people have handed over their peace and happiness to external factors, as if they had no control over their own lives. But tell me, do you think a Stoic would accept living like this? Imagine Seneca in a session at the Roman Senate, surrounded by political rivals trying to discredit him. They throw accusations at him, mock him, try to provoke him. Many would have responded with anger. Others would have felt humiliated or defeated. But what do you think Seneca would have done? Would he have shouted louder than the rest, insulted them back? Ah, my friend, of course not. You and I both know that Seneca would have simply observed them, maintaining his unshakable calm. Not because he didn't care, but because he knew that the only thing truly within his control was his own reaction. He had control over his mind, not his adversaries. And no, don't get me wrong, it's not about ignoring what happens around you. It's about deciding how much weight you give it in your life. Marcus Aurelius made it clear, if something external disturbs you, it is not the thing itself that troubles you, but your judgment of it. And you have the power to change that judgment right now. Now let's talk a bit about science. Cognitive behavioral therapy, developed by Aaron Beck, has Stoic roots and teaches how to change our perception of what happens to us. A simple method is this. First, identify the thought that is bothering you. Ask yourself, what story am I telling myself about this situation? Then, question it. Is this just an automatic reaction? Am I exaggerating the problem? Is it really out of my control? And here's the final trick. Replace it with a more useful interpretation. Instead of saying, "This ruined my day," say, "This is just a temporary inconvenience that does not define my life." My friend, here's the truth. If you really want to reset your life, you need to shield your mind. Stop giving power to things that don't deserve it. If someone criticizes you, let them criticize. That doesn't change who you are or what you are capable of. If things don't go as expected, keep moving forward. Not everything is in your control, but your reaction always is. And if you ever feel that something external is controlling you, stop and ask yourself, why am I giving this so much power? Nothing external should have control over you. You decide, now and always. So tell me, are you going to keep letting external things dominate your life? Or are you finally going to take back control like a true Stoic? 7. Surround yourself with the right people. I'm going to tell you a story that didn't start well. A story of poverty, abuse, and an environment that seemed to dictate a hopeless fate. It's the story of a little girl who grew up surrounded by scarcity. She lived in a dysfunctional home, surrounded by people in constant conflict, who only talked about how hard life was, how impossible it was to change the future. No one around her was trying to prosper, and even less so, to dream big. No one had aspirations. No one expected anything better from life. And so, she began to believe that her life was already written. And who could blame her? When everything around you screams limitation, you end up believing that's your only path. When you grow up hearing people like us never get far, it's not worth trying, and that's just how life is. Your mind fills with invisible barriers that prevent you from seeing beyond. For years, her days reflected the environment she lived in. She spent her afternoons watching meaningless TV shows because no one in her house talked about books or learning something new. No one around her spoke of opportunities or the future. And when she went out, she did so with fear because all she saw on the streets were problems and crime. Everything around her told her that life was just about surviving. But one day, something changed. Someone saw her potential and encouraged her to try something new. At first, she doubted it. Me? What for? But deep inside, a part of her had always felt there could be something more. So little by little, she started making small changes. Instead of wasting her afternoons on distractions, she started reading. For the first time, she saw in books something she had never seen in her surroundings, the proof that other ways of living existed. Instead of surrounding herself with negative people, she started seeking conversations with those who had ambitions, who talked about growth instead of limitations. She began surrounding herself with different people, people who didn't stay trapped in misery but worked for something greater. And as soon as she changed her environment, her mindset changed as well. And if I tell you who this little girl was, you'll understand that the rest is history. That girl was Oprah Winfrey. If she had stayed in the same environment, listening to the same voices telling her she had no options, she would have never gotten to where she is today. She changed her circle, and in doing so, she changed her destiny. Because your environment is not just a reflection of your life, it's a magnet. It absorbs you, conditions you, and pulls you in the same direction as the majority. So tell me, how do you expect to change your life if you're still surrounded by the same people leading you to the same place? How do you expect to start fresh if you're walking alongside those who only see the end? Do you know who understood this perfectly? Seneca. He said, "Spending time with bad people will make you bad as well. However, being in contact with honest people will only benefit you, even if that wasn't your intention." If you spend your days with people who only complain, you will end up seeing life through the same eyes. If you surround yourself with those who settle for less sooner or later, you'll place your own ceiling over your head. If your environment is full of people who say, "It's impossible," how do you expect to convince yourself that it is possible? It makes no sense. It's like trying to swim with an anchor tied to your foot. No matter how hard you fight, the weight will pull you down. So how do you change this? Start by observing. Look around and ask yourself, the people I spend time with, do they push me forward or do they hold me back? Then, seek out environments where people have the mindset you want to develop. If you want to grow, surround yourself with those who think big. If you want to learn, seek out those who never stop learning. If you want to be strong, build strength alongside those who never give up. And one more thing, don't be afraid to distance yourself from those who hold you back. It doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean you despise them. It only means you've decided to grow. Because if Oprah had never changed her environment, her story would have ended the way it started. But she made the decision to surround herself with the right people, and the rest is history. So tell me, what story are you going to write? One of complaints and misery, or one of growth and ambition? 8. Don't fool yourself, complaining is not your friend. If complaining actually solved anything, the world would already be perfect, don't you think? Sometimes it feels like complaining is the national sport. Everyone does it all the time. But tell me, have you ever changed your life just by complaining? Think about it. There's nothing easier than sitting down and saying, "This is unfair. Things shouldn't be this way. If I were luckier, everything would be different." But while you're talking, nothing changes. While you're complaining, you remain stuck in the same place. Imagine you have a glass with a small hole at the bottom. Every time you complain, it's like trying to fill it with more water, expecting that at some point, it will stay full, but it never does. Because complaining is a constant energy drain. Everything you pour into it is lost. And here's what no one tells you. The more you complain, the more you train your brain to keep doing it. Neuroscience has proven it. When you complain constantly, the neurons that activate those thoughts reinforce each other. It's like a muscle you work out every day. Over time, it becomes stronger, more automatic. Without realizing it, you turn complaining into your default response to any problem. But don't panic, because the opposite is also true. If you decide to stop complaining, your brain starts looking for solutions instead of problems. Studies have shown that people who reduce their level of complaining and focus their energy on action experience less stress, greater mental clarity, and a stronger sense of control over their lives. So now tell me, what do you prefer? A brain that reinforces your victim mentality, or a brain that trains you to move forward? Epictetus understood this perfectly. It's not things that disturb us, but our opinion of them. And in case you forgot, this Stoic philosopher was a slave for most of his life. If he managed to eliminate complaining, what excuse do you have not to? It's not traffic that makes you angry, it's your interpretation of it. It's not the lack of opportunities that frustrates you, it's how you choose to face it. Complaining doesn't change reality, it only changes your mindset, and it does so for the worse. Do you want to know what people who truly move forward do? They take responsibility. They accept what they can't change and take action on what they can. Which brings us to this question: what would happen if today, just for today, you decided not to complain about anything? If the day is cloudy, instead of saying, "What terrible weather," keep doing what you were going to do anyway. If traffic is unbearable, instead of getting frustrated, use that time to learn something new with an audiobook. If things don't go as expected, instead of cursing, ask yourself, well, what can I do now? My friend, these might seem like small changes, but believe me, the difference between a person who changes their life and one who stays stuck in complaints is simple. One spends their energy on words, the other on actions. Marcus Aurelius summed it up in a powerful phrase: stop debating what a good man should be one. Complaining is the chain keeping you tied to the same place. It's time to break it into 1,000 pieces and move forward into your new life. 9. The magic of habits. If you really want to reinvent yourself, forget about overnight transformations. Don't be fooled by TV commercials. Real change doesn't happen in a single moment, but in the small actions you repeat every day. Think of a tree. It doesn't grow strong overnight. Its roots don't suddenly appear, and its trunk doesn't become sturdy in an instant. Every day, every drop of water, every ray of sunshine, and every inch of growth accumulated makes the difference. That's how it grows, slowly but relentlessly. And that's exactly how true transformation happens in your life. Your life isn't just the result of big decisions. It's the reflection of the small habits you build daily. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, explains a key principle. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Do you know what that means? It doesn't matter how badly you want to change your life if you keep repeating the same old mistakes every day. If you want different results, you need different habits. And here's the key: progress isn't measured in big leaps, but in small, consistent improvements. In his book, Clear teaches us about the powerful 1% concept. If you improve by just 1% every day, by the end of the year, the transformation is massive. But if you decline by 1% every day, the deterioration is just as inevitable. My friend, everything you do is taking you in a direction. The question is, are you going the right way? The Stoics understood this principle centuries before it became a trend. Seneca insisted that reading about virtue and discipline wasn't enough. You had to practice them daily. Greatness isn't a destination. It's the result of small actions repeated with consistency. You don't become strong by training once. You don't become wise by reading a single book. Everything comes down to repetition. And I know what you're thinking. It's easier to watch Netflix before bed than to read a book that helps you grow. It's more fun to spend hours on a video game than to dedicate part of your day to working on your purpose. It's more comfortable to stay the same. But here's the key question. What do you prefer? Comfort and entertainment, or growth and reinvention? If you really want to reset your life, you need to take that question seriously. And if you decide to take the leap, let me show you how to build habits that truly transform you. James Clear gives us two fundamental lessons in his book. The first, design your environment to work in your favor. If you want to stop wasting time on your phone, leave it in another room while you work. If you want to start working out, don't rely on motivation. Lay out your gym clothes the night before and make it as easy as possible to go. The second key lesson, make the habit part of your identity. Instead of saying, "I want to read more," tell yourself, "I am a person who never stops learning." Instead of saying, "I want to be disciplined," say, "I am someone who always does what needs to be done." Because when you identify with who you want to be, it simply becomes natural. The Stoics didn't see self-discipline as a burden, but as the essence of who they were. Marcus Aurelius didn't need motivation to write his reflections every morning. Epictetus didn't need reminders to act with patience and resilience. They had made it their way of life. So here's a powerful piece of advice. If you truly want to reset your life, don't wait for a moment of inspiration. Build habits that take you where you want to be. Because that's the magic of habits. You don't need to change your life all at once. You just need to start doing something better today and repeat it tomorrow. 10. Do what you must, not what's easy. The easy path is always there, whispering in your ear, "It's okay, you can do it tomorrow. Take a break, you'll get to it later." And of course, who doesn't like comfort? It's easy to sleep a little longer, to stay in bed where it's warm, to hit the snooze button and put off that change you know you need. The hard part is getting up, moving when no one is forcing you to. But there's something you need to understand. If you always choose what's easy, your life will become difficult. Have you heard the saying, "Easy choices lead to a hard life. Hard choices lead to an easy life"? Because discipline is not a prison, it's freedom. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be prepared to be ridiculed, hated, and seen as crazy. But don't let that stop you." Because the world is full of people looking for shortcuts and instant rewards. And do you know what's ironic? They're the same ones who later wonder why they don't have the life they want. But tell me, do you want to be like most people? My friend, doing what you must, even when you don't feel like it, is what separates you from the rest. Think of the sculptor Michelangelo. Did you know he didn't like painting? Yes, you heard that right. The genius who painted the Sistine Chapel didn't enjoy painting. He always said his true passion was sculpture. And yet, he spent 4 years painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Frustrated, angry about having to do it. But he did it. He did what he had to do, not what he wanted to do. 4 years of discomfort, of back pain, of fatigue from the paint dripping into his eyes. Do you think he woke up every morning eager to climb scaffolding and spend hours in an uncomfortable position? But he did it, because he knew that the masterpiece he was creating was worth more than his temporary discomfort. And now tell me, what excuse do you have for not doing what you know you must do? If you truly want to reset your life, you can't keep avoiding what's difficult. The hard path is the way forward. Here's something that might help you on days when motivation fails you. Change your mindset. Stop waiting for motivation. If you've committed to training, studying, working, do it no matter how you feel. Also, tackle the hardest task first. What you avoid the most is what will help you grow the most. Once you get the difficult part out of the way, everything else will feel lighter. And finally, remind yourself, every time you choose what's easy, you choose to stay the same. Every time you choose what's hard, you choose to move forward. Marcus Aurelius understood this perfectly. He didn't want to get out of bed on those cold Roman mornings. Like anyone, he felt the temptation to stay under the covers. But he asked himself, was I born to stay in bed or to do the work of a human being? Because in the end, life doesn't reward you for what you say you'll do. It rewards you for what you actually do. So say goodbye to comfort, start doing what you must, and your transformation will be inevitable. 11. Turn off autopilot. Have you ever noticed how you go through your days? The alarm rings, you turn it off without thinking. You check your phone before getting up. You get ready for a day that feels exactly like the one before. You go to work or handle your tasks without questioning anything. You come home, distract yourself with whatever's in front of you, and then you repeat the cycle the next day. And just like that, days, weeks, and months go by, on autopilot, until one day, you realize that years have passed and you're still in the exact same place. Tell me the truth. How many times have you done something without even remembering the exact moment you did it? How many times have you finished a day without being able to point out what you actually did to get closer to the life you want? Because that's the problem with autopilot. It keeps you busy, but it doesn't let you move forward. Psychology has taught us that the human brain is always looking for efficiency, which is why it automates behaviors. Psychologist and Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman explained this through his theory of two thinking systems. System 1 is fast, automatic, and emotional, while System 2 is slow, conscious, and rational. If you let your life be dominated by System 1, you become someone who just reacts instead of someone who decides. And my friend, we already know what happens if you don't decide. You will never be able to change the direction of your life. Our Stoic friends understood this long before psychologists studied it. Marcus Aurelius was not an emperor who simply drifted through the routine of power. Every morning before starting his day, he wrote in his meditations, reflected on his purpose, and prepared himself for whatever challenges lay ahead. But imagine if he hadn't. Imagine the emperor waking up without thinking, attending meetings without questioning anything, signing documents without reflecting, returning to his chambers at night without having made a single conscious decision. He wouldn't have been Marcus Aurelius. He would have been a pawn in his own life, but he didn't let autopilot control his existence. Every day, he took charge. He asked himself, what challenges will I face today? What kind of man do I want to be? Am I acting with virtue, or am I just letting the day pass? Think about this. How many times have you made a decision just because it was the easiest option, without asking yourself if it was really the best choice for you? If you'll take my advice, that way of living ends today. If you want to reset your life, the first thing you must do is turn off autopilot. And if you're wondering how, here's what psychology tells us. Start questioning everything. Every action you take, ask yourself, am I choosing this, or is it just a meaningless habit? Do something different every day. Change your routine, break the inertia, challenge your mind. The people who grow are the ones who question the way things have always been done. And most importantly, give meaning to the start of your day. Take a moment each morning to decide how you want to live your day. Don't let the world decide for you, because in the end, either you take control of your life or someone else will do it for you. And when you look back years from now, make sure it's not to regret all the time you spent in autopilot, but to feel proud of the person you've become. Now tell me, in what area of your life do you feel like you're still on autopilot? Tell me in the comments. I want to know what the first thing you'll change is. And stay with me just a little longer, because now comes the key to personal reinvention. 12. Act as if you already are who you want to be. This is the difference between staying stuck in the attempt or becoming the person you truly want to be. Because everything we've talked about so far won't matter if you keep seeing yourself as someone who wants to change instead of someone who is already changing. Your mind is the driving force behind everything. If you think you're weak, you will act like a weak person. If you tell yourself you can't, your body and actions will follow that command. But if you start thinking and acting like the person you want to become, everything around you will begin to align with that version of yourself. This is what psychology calls the self-identity effect. Psychologist Robert Cialdini proved that people act according to the identity they believe they have. If you see yourself as a disciplined person, you will start acting like one. If you tell yourself you are strong, you will begin making decisions like a strong person. And this isn't a new theory. Centuries ago, Epictetus said, "First tell yourself what you will be, and then do what you must do." The Stoics didn't wait to feel ready. They acted as the person they wanted to be until they became that person. Have you ever heard the phrase, "fake it till you make it"? Well, something like that, but with a lot more wisdom behind it. Think about it for a moment. Imagine someone who tells themselves every day, "I'm a failure, I always mess things up, I'll never achieve anything." What do you think happens? Their mind accepts it as truth, and their life shapes itself around that belief. Why even try if they've already convinced themselves it's pointless? Now imagine that same person starts repeating, "I am capable, I am improving every day. My actions create my destiny." At first it won't feel real, but if they act accordingly, if they make decisions aligned with that new identity, sooner or later, that identity will become reality. It's like sculpting a statue out of a block of marble. Every action, every decision, every thought is a chisel strike. If you strike randomly, without direction, the figure will never emerge. But if you strike with intention, with consistency, with vision, sooner or later the version of yourself that has always been inside will take shape. So here's my challenge for you. What would happen if, starting today, you acted as if you already were the person you want to be? If you want to be disciplined, act like a disciplined person. Don't wait to feel motivated. If you want confidence, speak and move as if you already had it. Your mind will follow. If you want success, think and decide like someone who is already on their way to achieving it. Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. And if today you change how you think and how you act, you'll be leaving behind who you were and welcoming the person you were always meant to be. My friend, this isn't about waiting for the perfect moment to change your life. It's about taking steps every day toward your new self. Reinventing yourself isn't a one-time event. It's a daily choice. Every thought, every decision, every small habit builds the life you truly desire. Start seeing yourself as the person you are destined to be and act accordingly. Because real transformation doesn't happen when you think about it. It happens when you live it. If you've made it this far, it means you're ready for change. Prove it by writing in the comments, "I become my best version." That way, I'll know who the true Stoic warriors are who made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give this video a like so you don't miss out on what's coming next. I also invite you to check out our playlist, which you'll see on the screen. It's packed with ideas, stories, and advice to help you navigate life with more wisdom and confidence. Click it, and let's keep moving forward together. Until next time, take care and keep embracing your inner Stoic.